Good morning, everyone. Good morning again. My name is Abayomi. I'd like to welcome you all to another mind-blowing edition of the TTN Quarterly Lifestyle webinar. I'd like to welcome everyone in. I know we're just about a little bit about 140, and I'm sure a lot of people are still going to join in 150 and counting right now. Good morning, good morning. Yes, I said the good morning in the chat box. Welcome everyone once again. I'm sure we'll definitely grow more than this as time goes on, but not to keep people waiting. It's a Saturday, and a lot of people have several things they have planned already. So we'll just like to kick up so we can we can end this on time. Just before I start, I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Kende Wani, who is the executive director, and we are blessed to have her facilitating today. It's such a great one. I'm so happy to have her. Dr. Kende Wani is the executive director of the Transformational Teachers Network, which is popularly known as TTN to almost everybody. It's a subsidiary of ERIT. Thank you so much. I'm sure she must be maybe prepping so much for us right now, or she's even here. Oh, I see her. Well,
Hi.
good morning, Dr. Wani. Wow, you joined so early.
Good morning, Dr. Wani.
No, I'm fine. Okay, and I can't start my video, so just know that, please.
Okay, I would make you a co-host, and that way you'll be able to do that. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, the cat is out of the bag. Dr. Kende is here. Thank you so much, Ma, for joining. I must also say something, and this is not because Dr. Kende is here, but this is because of my years of working with her. Right now, I've worked with her for quite a while, and I must say that Dr. Kende is one of the most passionate people about teachers. She's passionate about teachers being recognized as professionals. She wants teachers to be given the same accolades just as you would give a doctor or a pilot. She wants teachers to be classified as professionals that they are. And so this is, another means to help to get teachers to be professionals. And that's why we have workplace etiquette and personal grooming for educators. So thank you so much again for joining. I would like to just quickly ask, where's everyone joining from? You can put in the chat box. Just put in the chat box. Let me know where you're joining from. Wherever you're joining from. I know, over time we've had Enugu, we've had people join from the Philippines, from the UAE, Lagos. I see you. Igbobi College, I see you. Thank you so much, Igbobi College. Oshogbo, Abuja, Aja. Okay, keep it coming. Dentiox, Ibadan, River State, Ikorodu,
Wow.
Ikorodu. Yes, thank you. Aja, Lagos, Abuja. I see it. Abuja. Thank you. Satellite Town, Surulere, Port Harcourt. Oh, this is good. Thank you so much. Oh, we seem to have a lot of Abuja people today. That's good. Ikeja, thank you. Bonny Islands, River State, Bejuleki. Wow. Oh, this is good. Lead Fort Gate, I see you. Victoria Island, I see you. Ojodu, thank you for joining. Badore, thank you for joining. Keep it coming. I'd like to know people from out of state. I've seen Rivers. Delta State, I see you. Agege, Yewa School, I see you. Bridge House, I see you. Ikotun, Togo. Patrick from Togo. I'm so interested in knowing how you got to know about us. That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. Let's forget I see you. Yes. Okay. London, Tolu from London. Thank you so much for joining. Wow. Benin. This is absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone for joining. Quick one, Ahmadiyya, Lagos. I think that's Abulegba, I believe. Yeah. Redemption Camp. Thank you so much. I would go on and on if I say it. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Thank you so much. So quickly, just before I pass on the mic to Mrs. Okewo, who is a fantastic, I'm sure if you joined most of our trainings. You would have heard of Mrs. Okewo, who is a fantastic and excellent facilitator. You know, she'll be taking us in the education and the bonus session later. But just before I pass the mic, so to speak, to her, I'd like to ask how your week went. How did your week go? Thank you. So, how did your week go? I know it's the holidays. Some people are traveled already. Some people are just, just relaxing at home.
Oh,
You
gosh.
can put an emoji in the chat box of how your week went. Republic of Benin, Cotonou, thank you for joining. How did your week go? It was a chillax week. Ooh, wow, nice. I like that word. Stressful week it was. Oh, so sorry about that. I thought the holidays had begun. Awesome. Oh, someone puts, being sick and recovering. I'm so sorry. Pray that the Lord will give you health. Someone said, cool, nice, amazing, cold. Yeah, yeah, Lagos is quite cold, and that's a good one. Thank you. Beautiful week. Someone has put their food, that's a lot of food to eat all through the week. Somehow hectic. All right. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Fantastic. It's been a restful week. At this stage, I'd like to pass on the mic to Mrs. Okelwo. Mrs. Okelwo, over to you. I would also like to say that we are streaming on YouTube just in case you cannot seem to get into the Zoom platform. We'll post the links of the YouTube on our several groups, so you can also share. We'll post it here too, so you can share with people to join. And I also like to say hello to the people on YouTube. We see you. We see you. Thank you. Thank you. Off to you, Mrs. Akewo.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ojelade. Good morning, our Executive Director, Dr. Wani. Good morning, teachers. Thank you all for joining. So just before you get to meet our Executive Director, I will be taking a starter. So just to get you ready for the awesome session we're going to have with Dr. Kehinde Wani today. Mr. Bayome, I don't know if you can share the slide for the starter.
I'm going on mute.
Please get your phones ready. We're going to be having the Kahoot starter activity. It's going to be really, really exciting, very interesting. You're going to hear music in the background. You just really have to enjoy yourself whilst you're doing the activity. So it's right up now. So we have 4 different links to use. The questions are all the same. There's a particular link for YouTubers. So once you're on YouTube, please log in. There are 3 ways to log in. You can go to kahoot.it to log in. You can click on the link, or you can scan the barcode. Please, let's do that very quickly. If you're on YouTube, the first one is for you. It can only take 40 participants. Once it's a particular quiz is full, go on to the next one. Please, let's be very, very quick about it. If you're logged in, let me know. It's very exciting, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy every bit of it. Okay. Please, if you're logged in, let me know. I'm checking. Can I see your response in the chat room, please? The link is right there, Mr. Abay. Let me drop it in the chat room. I've posted links, so please just go right on and click. Please confirm if you have logged in. There are 3 links already in the chat room. Thank you. You have logged in, Rini. Thank you. All right, you're in. Please start off immediately. Very exciting. I would like to know your feedback already. Thank you so much. Okay, you're in. Fantastic. Okay, I only have one participant in the number 3 starter. Please go on, enjoy every bit of this. Okay, 10 people in number 2 starter. Please continue. I can see what you're doing. Well done. Well done. Okay, well done, well done. Lillian, well done. Folandri, 16, well done. Lom, well done. Please keep it coming, keep it coming. Once you're done, please type in the chat room that you're done. Okay, you just joined in. Good morning. Check the chat room. We have links posted. You can quickly log in and do the Kahoot activity we have for you there.
Good morning. How fine, ma? Hello, ma. We thank God. Have you? Yes, ma. Thank you, ma.
Okay, okay. If you're just logging in, the links are on the screen. You can scan the barcode. Right, 24 people in starter 2. Well done, well done. I can see your activity. Well done, Miss Bibi. Well done, SC. Well done, Moses Happiness. Awesome. Some people didn't finish. Unjoku, please continue. Late, well done. Pearl, well done. Starry, well done. Chini, please keep it coming. Well done, well done, well done. Once you are done, please signify. Zabayami, could you help me check the chat room if they are done?
Yes, some people, yeah, I can see done, finished.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done, finished,
All right, well done.
done. I just joined. Kindly resend the links. The links is showing on the, okay, someone has helped you drop the link. Yeah.
Okay, and you can also scan the barcode, the
I can send.
QR
Okay.
code.
Yeah, there are a lot of dons right now dropping.
It's okay. Well, we need to start rounding up.
Yes, ma. All right. Well done. I think we have just 1 minute to go. Everyone should have had an opportunity to take part in this exciting starter. All right, all right. So please put something in the chat room to help let us know what you have learned today. Okay, okay, you're in. Good. Mr. Abayomi, we're done. Our time is up. Done, done, done. Thank you very much. Differentiation, thank you. Thank you. All right. So today we're going to be having a very exciting session with our Executive Director, Dr. Kehinde Wani. And I just have a few questions to ask you. So as a teacher, tell me, how do you carry yourself at work? What do you hope to enjoy today in today's session? We're looking at etiquette. We're looking at your professional conduct. How do you talk to students? How do you communicate with parents? If a parent should come unannounced today, how are they going to see you at work? How would you be dressed? How would you carry yourself? How would you respond to students in your classroom? If you have to eat together in the hall, how would you do that? Are you modeling what they expect to learn from you? Those are questions I have. I'm sure you also have those questions. Start thinking about it. Today, when we have a session with Dr. Wani, we will be learning so many things that we ought to do as educators to ensure that we're outstanding in every aspect of our lives, not just professional, personal aspect as well. So I'm not going to say any more. Just let's wait for Dr. Kehinde Wani to do justice to this session. Thank you so much, Dr. Kehinde Wani, for this awesome session that we're about to have. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Is Princess there?
Yes. All right.
Princess.
This is hello, can you hear me?
Loud
Hello, can anyone hear
and
me?
clear.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening from wherever it is you're joining us from. We've had such an amazing start to this inspiring, transformative, and an enlightening session that we're about to have. And I have the honor and privilege to introduce the one, the only transformative, passionate, inspiring, dedicated. I don't know if I continue to use adjectives right now, I think I might just exhaust everything. I don't exhaust all the adjectives if I continue. But Dr. Wani, who is our host, and also the person that our facilitator for today's webinar, is one who is known for her transformative and um, passionate to education, to teachers, and just ensuring that teachers are rewarded for all they do, right? We all know that it's not easy to teach children, and that is like one of the most greatest, I think I would take it as one of the greatest career in the world at this point, because literally teachers are the ones
Absolutely.
building the world, right? So
Yep.
I don't know. Max, can I still continue? I know you said I should not
No,
hype
don't
it too much, but
continue.
I have
Thank
a
you
lot.
so much.
Okay. Okay. All right, please. Start.
We
Let me
have
see
to
your
run.
claps. Let me see your claps in the chat, please. Thank you so much. Welcome, Dr.
Uh,
Wani. I want to see the claps. Thank you.
okay.
All
Good
right, the floor is yours, ma.
morning. Good morning, everyone. How are you? I hope you can all see me. Can you see me? Let me see in the chat.
And Dr. Wani.
Yeah, good morning. How are you all today? Yeah? All right. Okay. All right then. At some point, I'll probably switch off my video. I always like people to concentrate on my slides, not on my mannerisms and things like that. So it's an honor and a privilege to be here today, talking to and sharing with what I call, I like to say that like-minded people, because you cannot be an educator or an educationist and not have a heart. You cannot. So it's an honor and a privilege to be here with you today. I'm going to start with this. Getting ready for this, I just remembered a situation that happened years ago, maybe 2025, no, maybe about 22 years ago. We had just started Meadow Hall at that time, and we were taking teachers to the UK for training. I've always believed in training and all that. Myself and my head teacher at that time, we would always go for training. Okay, we used to travel quite a lot. But we were then taking this set of teachers for training. First time they were traveling. So I remember myself and my head teacher at that time saying, you know what, these people were taking, let us have a grooming session with them. We called them in, but just maybe 5 of them that we were, they were going abroad for the first time, how to go through immigration, when you get there, when you get to the training, comportment. We took, how to use their fork and knife, how to behave. When we got to the training, trust me, we were just on point. My people were on point. I was also there with them. There were people from this other school, I'm not going to mention, amazing school, but the difference is they did not train their teachers. I'm sure very, knowledgeable people in maths and English and science and things like that. But they got that the behavior was just, oh my goodness. Myself and my team would be looking at them. They was, what is this that we're going to eat? They would now be, speaking some indigenous Nigerian. They thought it was funny. For me, I could see that they were covering their insecurity with humor. They were just not prepared. And I, as Ms. Okewo has said, I've always been somebody that believes in the holistic development of teachers. Most organizations will focus on just the professional, content knowledge, pedagogy, very important. But how about the personal development of teachers and leaders, by the way? Because everything rises and falls on leadership. When the leader doesn't know, the people they are leading cannot know. I got interested in this 20-something years ago because I'm in Meadowhall then. I would take etiquette. My head teacher at that time would take elocution. We were interested in it. We were bothered enough to make sure that our teachers were well-rounded. So a lot of people focus just on the professional, but there's no success in the professional when you have not done anything about your personal growth. We look at things like, your character, your values. We will look at things like how you turn up. Who are you? Integrity. We will look at things like your finances. How do you, arrange your finances so you don't go from pillar to post? Somebody gives you 5,000 extra because you don't know how to plan. You don't understand. You don't have financial literacy. We would look at things like self-care. Those are the things we look at in TTN, because TTN stands for transformational. How can you be transformational when we all focus on only one area? And that is the professional. So in TTN is a transformational teachers network. We will look at your professional, all right. Even in this, we said, okay, you know what, we'll still bring some education, aspects to the academic aspects to this. We will look at the personal, your self-care, your health, your well-being. We will look at the professional. We look at professional identity. That is where this fits into. This lovely cake you see in front of me is, when you think of personal grooming, etiquette, social graces, professional manners, it's like the icing on the cake of your knowledge of maths and English and content and pedagogy and the curriculum and everything. It's an icing on the cake. But guess what? It goes beyond just icing the cake and looking good. What we don't understand most of the time is that how you show up, it actually influences how effectively you can teach and you're teaching and learning. How many of us till today still remember the teachers? My husband went to King's College. The KCOB guys, the King's College old boys, they're all in their 60s now. Every day we gather together, they're still like, remember that teacher, what he used to say, how he used to pronounce this word. It never goes. If a teacher doesn't speak well, they don't know how to comport themselves properly, you will be the butt of jokes for years. How about the ladies they don't know how to sit? They're in class, they don't know how to sit. My first son, he used to say something. He would say that when he was teaching my daughter how to sit properly, he would tell her, don't sit like a goalkeeper. A goalkeeper, I'm sure a lot of you know sport. A goalkeeper, they feel the what do you call it now? The goal is wide open. See, I don't want any disturbance. The goal is wide open. You score goals, because my first son is a footballer. A lot of us teachers, you sit down carelessly. And you expect the children to learn? You know, what gets me most is the fact that when we understand personal grooming, professional manners, which is what etiquette is in the workplace, it projects our profession in a respectful manner. We know how people look down on education, on teachers. I practiced law for 14 years. When I was going to cross over to education, and I've done much more, almost twice the time I spent in law in education. I've been in education for much longer. When I wanted to cross over, people thought I was mad. But when I got into education, I saw people who had very low self-esteem most of the time. They didn't know how to dress. Immediately we started, I said to my team, when we would have retreats, I'm sure my team will remember, we would go to, what's the place, to one of these top hotels for our retreats. There you would see on the door, all companies having retreats as well. Because as Ms. Okewo said, I want you, and I think Abayomi as well, I want us to be regarded like I was regarded as a lawyer before I became an educator. As doctors, as engineers, it projects, that it gives us respect when you know how to comport yourself properly. Students learn by observation. A lot of my interest in education developed when I was in secondary school. I had this literature teacher that had just come back from the US, and then she was also a drama teacher. I loved her, Mrs. Akonai. She was just prim and proper. She spoke well. She dressed well. But in the same breath, I had some teachers that could not even speak English to save their lives. Surely those were not the people that were role models. And generally, when you understand etiquette and things like that, it improves things in the workplace because you're respectful of each other. So I say to you all today, to thyself be true. A lot of us might listen to, and one thing educators, one thing we do when you go for trainings, oh, I've heard that before. I even know that. You know it, but you're not doing it. To thyself be true. I saw teachers, I gave you the example at the beginning. I saw teachers who were using humor to cover up their inadequacy. They couldn't use the fork and knife. They didn't know how to compose themselves and comport themselves properly. And they were now laughing amongst each other. And our own teacher, none of them knew those things before, by the way. Myself and my head teacher were the ones that taught them everything before going. To thyself be true. It is not the time to say, okay, I'm waiting for the time for Bloom's taxonomy. Let me tell you. I just want to, I put here success. Success must meet success is when preparation meets opportunity. I have, as an employer, I've seen many people lose opportunities because they were not prepared. I was interviewed for one of our schools at some point in time, and I interviewed these ladies, amazing teachers, but guess what? They were not prepared for leadership. There was no leadership question we asked that they could answer. They were not prepared. It is the same way. In the same breath, I remember when I interviewed another leader that was going to come to one of our schools. It was in the UK. And we said, let's meet for lunch. When I interviewed him, he was beautiful. You must be prepared before opportunity comes because you are going to lose out on the opportunity. Some of you will go for interviews. Lord. Some people, as we finish interviewing them, you would have gone, you wouldn't know what is happening. Myself and my team, hey, where's air freshener? Air freshener, air freshener. Because the person came in reeking of sweat. Opportunity lost. So to thyself be true. This is a virtual, sometimes we have this kind of program, it's physical, but this is a virtual program. It's you. You, by yourself, be true to yourself. Know what you need to learn. Why am I so particular about grooming? about etiquette. A lot of people think maybe it's just about, about posing and showing off. It is not. It is not. I'm a leadership coach. I train on John Maxwell's materials. And what we say all the time is, how can you become the best version of yourself? Why would you not want to be the best that you can be? Why would you not want to? It beats me, really. So when we're talking about grooming, about etiquette, it's not just about conforming to, societal rules. It's about you becoming the best you. For me, as a Christian, anything I can find in the Bible, that's it. So you might, if you're not a Christian, I'm sure in the Quran or whatever your faith is, there will be something similar. For me, once I can see it in the faith, relate it from the faith angle, I'm all for it. In the Bible, scriptures, 1 Corinthians 14:40, it says, let everything be done decently and in order. What part of that don't we understand for those of us who are Christians? And I'm sure those who are not Christians, there will be something that will relate to this. Let everything be done decently and in order. It is not only the knowledge you have, it is the presentation of it. Why should I listen to you? How organized are you? How well do you plan? When you are bothered about things like grooming and etiquette, you present yourself in a way that shows that you are well-mannered. It's respectful, you are polite. Philippians 2:4 says, don't look out only for your own interest. You see, that is what etiquette is about. A lot of times it's not about the fact that I can use my fork and knife properly, or maybe when I'm talking somewhere, I'm considering the other, I don't care about the other person. You get on the plane sometimes, or you are somewhere, that thing irritates me. And the person is the loudest, they're chatting away, forgetting that there are other people around them. Why? How? How can you not understand that, oh, I'm disturbing everybody? They will not even think about it. So don't look out only for your own interest. The Bible says, it says, but take interest in others too. That is what this is all about. When you're properly groomed and you are not reeking and people are, they don't know, you have made me, you've inconvenienced me. But yet you just carry on with your own, not oblivious of every other person around you. And you tell me you're a Christian, even a pastor or an imam. What are we talking about? These things are important. You should care that people around you are comfortable and they're not just okay, the interview is over. Out of my office so I can spray the room. So we will be looking today at personal grooming. Don't switch. In fact, you know what I expect you to do? I expect you, after this training, you call your children. Even your spouse. I remember I met my husband when I was 20. I remember him telling me at some point in time, I would use perfume. I remember him saying once, Kenny, you need to add antiperspirant. We must be able to tell our loved ones. I was worried why spouses, in fact, this is now marriage, not even when you're going out. So we cannot tell ourselves the truth. I have had to call to at least 2 leaders about breath in the past. They're no more with me now. So take this thing seriously. And after, share it with your husband or your wife, share it with your children. That is what a leader does. You don't learn alone. You develop other leaders. We will look at personal grooming. We will understand etiquette, professional manners in this, because we're talking about workplace etiquette. We'll look at it in 5 ways. The objectives of this training, my part of the training, I want you, and that's yours truly. I went for a very big wedding in Barcelona, Spain. Imagine that I was not prepared and I'd not been grooming myself. And I purposely put that there because it's also about social, situations. So the purpose is to help you to cultivate poise, polish, and a personal brand. If you know nothing else, you are a brand. I want you to put it in the chat. I am a brand. Please put it there right now. I am a brand. Say, I, Kende, am a brand. I am a brand. If you do not see yourself as a brand and you think it's only the brand of your school or your organization, you are missing out. You are a brand. Yes. Are you writing? Can you confirm? My people, I don't want to leave my. You are a brand. Your reputation will go before you, whatever it is. You are a brand. So the whole essence is to cultivate poise, polish, and the personal brand. When you understand you're a brand, it enhances your confidence. The way you show up, when your in-laws are having a program or a party or your friend's birthday, the way you show up will matter. And your professional image will be enhanced. And we will stop having situations where a man hears that the daughter wants to marry a teacher and he says, no way, teacher, why would you marry a teacher? Because when the father-in-law even sees you, the way you carry yourself, so first of all, that's the first objective. The second one is to understand, to have knowledge and skills to improve your workplace etiquette. So these are two people, real people. They are not AI generated. They are real people. Which one and as in this is how they turned up to work. And I don't know if I think one is bad or good, but these are people who have turned up to work. Choose, which one do you relate to with the most, A or B? Let me see, put in the chat, A or B? I'm a brand, good, A. All of you, A. Okay, somebody likes B, good, I like that. A, few B's, A, B, A, lovely. Both. I like that. I'm a brand, both. Right. Good. Majority of us chose A. And do you know why? Because at work, A seems to be more well put together. B, she's at work. That hairstyle, for crying out loud. Why, my sisters and brothers, why? This hair can be better. If she wants to go to the beach, it's okay. But at this point, honestly, at work, if both of them came for an interview with me, and I'm sure a lot of employers, guess who will get the job? It will be A. So there is a place, you see, etiquette is about knowing the right dressing for the right occasion. There's a place for that other hairstyle. There's a place for it. But at work, trust me, A seems better put together. So I'm starting with personal grooming, then I'll go into etiquette. What is personal grooming? It's just really about maintaining an appearance that is presentable. It ensures that you look like somebody who understands personal cleanliness. They understand dressing. You don't wear a bright silver sparkling dress to work. And then for dinner, you wear a blazer and a shirt. Personal grooming ensures that not only do you present yourself as somebody who understands personal cleanliness, not just your environment might be clean. For example, maybe in your office, your place of work, your school, it's clean. But you personally, you are not clean. That's personal grooming. Personal grooming is not just about looking good. What happens is that when you are well groomed, sorry, when you're well groomed, okay, sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. When you are well groomed, and I just want to say hello to our people on YouTube. Thank you for joining. I almost forgot that. So personal grooming makes you feel confident. A lot of us are not confident people because no one is born confident. But there's a way you present yourself. You know, you smell good, you are clean, you are well dressed. It immediately makes you sit up high. It reflects self-respect. If you show up looking anyhow, smelling anyhow, please, why should I respect you? Why? So when you turn up the right way, first of all, it shows self-respect. When there's self-respect, the next person will respect you. Remember, it's the first impression that people will see. Why is grooming important? It helps you maintain that high self-esteem. A lot of people inside suffer from low self-esteem. And let me tell you, we have all been there. There was a time that a friend of mine who is a bank MD, she says, Kenny, all people have a bit of that low self-esteem. She says, but you must nip it in the bud. And then you must learn. There are strategies to overcome it. Deep down, that is, people have that feeling. Let me digress here, which is why couples, wives, encourage your spouse. Tell him you are the king. There is nothing you cannot overcome out there. Men, encourage your wives because there's just that thing that you're thinking, am I good enough? Am I not? That is very important as an aside, because I'm also a counselor and a coach. Now, grooming is important. It elevates your self-esteem and your confidence. A well-groomed person commands attention and respect, both in career and social settings. When you're well-groomed, mental health will be in place because you are not worrying everywhere you go. You know, what happens is that there is somewhere that you will go that will be above you. I'm telling you. Sometimes as confident as everything as I am, to the glory of God, you go to somewhere, maybe you see all these top sending, you know, the top people in hierarchy in the society. You'll be adjusting yourself that, yeah, I feel good. So once you're already in the right frame of mind, and sometimes like, you know what, I have done the best to show up in the proper way. I don't care how any other person looks. My mental health is immediately settled. Not the one that you're thinking, you're there, you're thinking, you know, how do I look? Are they going to be thinking, see her shoe? See, you don't need all that. Now, I go to examples of personal grooming. Before I go into that, good grooming opens doors. Trust me, any employer of labor here will agree with me. Clients that you want to do business, those of us that have our side hustles, when you want to deal with clients in your place of work, your employer, strangers, they respect you when you turn up properly. And it's a sign of self-discipline. When you come and you haven't brushed your teeth, how am I going to even to do what with? So these are the reasons why personal grooming is very important. Now, I want you to look at this. Don't unmute, but I want you to say this, read this to yourself. Read it to yourself. Remember always, you are a walking billboard. People are watching you. The students you teach are watching you. The new people that join your organization, the fresh intakes, they are watching you. You are an epistle read of men. You are a walking billboard for your organization, for your spouse, for your children. The way you turn up, they are watching you. You're a billboard. Now, let's quickly go into some areas of personal grooming. I'm going to spend more time with the etiquette in the workplace. But these things are still very important. So we'll say clothes and manners, they do not make a man. You know, a book is not judged by its cover. And I'm like, really? Like, really? A book is not judged by its cover. Why would you choose one book rather than another? Why? Because you judge the cover. It is not true. A book is actually judged by its cover. Your clothing says a lot about your organization. In our organization, honestly, people will say that nobody joins our group and remains the same. It's not possible. It's not possible. We would have seen potential, right? Then when you come in, nobody, because it's a reflection of the organization as well. Research says is actually within 5 milliseconds, people have categorized you. And within 5 minutes, first impressions are made regarding you. So your appearance does matter and influences the opinion of people about you. You know, we don't understand it, but most of the time, your appearance immediately communicates intelligence. You're already looking at the person, I think this one, not worth my time. It communicates intelligence. It makes me want to trust you. Why would we on the road, maybe you're going on a road and you see somebody who is not well dressed, who maybe is having some mental health issues, and you see them and you cross the other way because immediately your mind is saying, am I safe with this person? That is how it is. When you are well put together, it engenders trust. Appropriate dressing, well ironed. Nigerians, please don't blame NEPA. That there's no NEPA now, there's no light. You now wear, God, you now wear something that is rough. You say there's there's no light. That's why. The day there's light, why don't you iron for as many as you can in such a way that you don't turn up anywhere with rumpled clothes? Now in the office and in your organizations, as many as have ID tags, I believe there are any leaders here, you would have given everybody. It's part of your dressing. It's not something that they should be checking every day. Where's your ID card? Where's your ID card? Take it as part of your dressing in the organization. Perception, when you appear properly. Professionalism. Remember, I'm so particular about how we show up in the world as educators. Your professionalism is emphasized. People can see it. Your level of sophistication. If you've brought a girl from the village to come and serve in your home, it's different from you that you've been here in Lagos and you show up in the world. So it immediately shows your level of sophistication. It has an effect on the way you're perceived as intelligent or not, and even credible. When you want to judge somebody, there was a time I wanted to employ a cook. And he came to the house to do like a test, test run. The guy was wearing this heavy chain. He was from Republic of Benin. Heavy chain. Immediately, I'm like, this guy. There's a way that you would think, is this a credible person? Can I trust this person or not? Areas that we must be particular about: hygiene and habits, self-care practices, personal hygiene, regular bathing. When we're not, I don't want to put, to say anything about people from any country, but we know some in the developed world, sometimes people will just go out. They just get up. You see it in movies sometimes. They just reach them out. They just, no. Our culture is different. And even in those countries, not everybody does that. You'll find a lot of people that understand the importance of regular bathing. Use of deodorants. You remember I said to you, okay, use of deodorants. I've mentioned that to you, for example. So some of us use perfumes, but we don't use antiperspirants or deodorants. Now, let me say this. I have heard, so please be careful. which is why some people don't use deodorants. That there's a product, I think, what would I call something in most deodorants called aluminum, I think, that can cause problems. So when you are looking for deodorants, especially women, please, because they relate it to different things, look for a product that doesn't have that aluminum. But deodorants are important. They're for the armpits. Perfume is for your body. Shave your armpits. When you have hair under your armpit, even if you use deodorant, you will smell of sweat periodically. Clothes, good clothes, and all that. I won't go through everything, but the important ones I will go through. Men, foot care, please. Please stop wearing socks of 2 months because you're putting your feet inside your shoes. Women, your pedicures, your manicures. You can do it by yourself. So those I should say all these things. Get a bowl. Get tepid water, hot water, mix it. Even if it's your bath soap, put it in there. Get something to scrub the back of your feet, the sole of your feet. Hair care, women, braids for 3 months. Ah, Lord, and we are role models to the children. Nails, teeth, I'm not going to go over everything. Teeth. Ah, oral hygiene, oral care is so important. A lot of people have bad breath because after a certain time of the day, your breath might not be as fresh. What do? After, floss. If you do not have floss, I'm doing everything so that you'll understand and make it as easy as possible. You don't have floss, you don't have the time. You know what? After each meal, rinse out your mouth. Because it is food that has gone into different parts of the mouth that smell. Oral hygiene is so important. Mouth odors are usually caused by plaque. I have said to you before, I've said to 2 people, and they did not know. And I wonder, how come the spouses never said anything? Because if you never go for your scaling and polishing and teeth cleaning, plaque will build up. Go to the dentist. If you are not going, are you then taking the children? Go to the dentist, clean out plaque. They build over time and they smell, and you will not even know. How can you have a leader that the breath is splendid and the person has to represent you somewhere? So I had to tell the person. So, very important. I'm really rushing. I don't have too much time. Makeup, please keep it down. I remember one of my teachers once, her lashes were like, I said, what do you want to wear to a wedding? So please keep your makeup moderate. As I round up this part, I will say, remember, this is just like a summary of those aspects. And take a picture, do something, but just summarizing it. Number 1, neat and clean clothes at all times. Don't, before you wear something that you have not washed or dry cleaned, you might actually just, be sure. Because what happens is that when a dress is not fresh, when you get out in the sun, that's when you begin to really smell the sweat. Hair properly done. No bad breath. Please spare us. Don't pick or touch your nose. This is the one, I see it all the time. People are talking, they're doing like this. Ah, God. They're doing like this because it's a habit. They're picking their nose. Or, so don't even be touching it because I won't know if you are picking it or you are just touching it. Clean, washed socks with polished shoes. Well manicured hands. Usage of deodorant. So now we go into etiquette. Before I go into that, I would like any questions in the chat? Anything, anybody wants to say anything, put on the chat. I want to see if I'm even connecting with you guys. Want to say in the chat, can I see some feedback in the chat? It's true. Thank you. You will stop some of those things. Thank you. Go on. You can put the AC down now. Well connected. You're connecting. Thank you. You're noted. Thank you. Thank you. Please, those things are important. Valid points. Yes, control the smell. Yeah, it's not compulsory. Okay, someone says, is it compulsory for teachers to wear high shoes? It's not, but be comfortable. You can wear platforms, you can wear sandals, but don't wear slippers. No, don't. It's my fun here. All right. All right. All right. Good. 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 Let's go to etiquette. So, etiquette, is a big word for professional manners or manners generally. But because we're looking at workplace etiquette today, these are the 5 professional manners that I want us to focus on. We've looked at personal grooming. So there's workplace etiquette, there's professional conduct, there's communication etiquette or manners. There's a meeting manners. We should have meeting manners. There are meeting manners we should have, meeting etiquette. And then we will round up with the dining etiquette. Now, workplace etiquette. My sisters, brothers, people on this platform, I want to, in the workplace, just think of your office for a minute right now. Do you know the only thing you owe everybody in that workplace is smile? A smile. It is said that a smile means the same in every language. A smile in Igbo means I'm happy to see you. A smile in Yoruba means the same. A smile in Cotonou, French, whatever, it means the same thing. Smile. How are you? Yeah? Did you have a good night's rest? Please, not how is your night? How was your night? How was your night? Did you have a good night's rest? How are you? How is the family? Smile. Workplace. You remember I said it builds relationships in the workplace. But when you're always morose, melancholic, and nasty and just sad. Yeah, one of my leaders said this once a long time ago, that when you're in the workplace, it's like acting. Whatever you put it at the gate. Because the same thing you do with other members of staff is what you're going to do with the students. So if you're already angry, you will take it out on the students. Life, you can't carry everything on you and everybody will be affected by it. Smile. Ask how people are. Workplace etiquette, please clean up after yourself in shared spaces. If you're in a meeting room, when you're done, or even while you're there, don't leave everything all over the place. Do you know the worst? The restroom. People will go into the restroom. I guess most of them have female and male. You don't clean the seat. You don't lift it up. And you're a role model. You're a teacher. And you're a father or a mother. Restroom. When you finish, even if you're traveling or anything like that, even in Nigeria, anywhere, they will tell you, please, in the restroom, those restrooms are small. Clean up after yourself. Yeah? Let me give you a quick story here. So I teach my children this all the time. And there was a particular day that it was actually, I think, on the plane. And I was leaving the restroom. I didn't know that my daughter was going to come in after. Imagine that I just left everything. And then she'll come in and say, Mom is such a hypocrite. See how she left the bathroom. If there's water on the wash hand basin or whatever, clean it. It is a respect for the next person that will come down. When you borrow things, bring it back. I have one of my leaders. When she takes somebody's pen, even if she then remembers, she will now come back and say, oh, I took your pen. This is your pen. Return things. Active listening is important in the workplace. I'll talk a bit more about communication later. Please don't overshare about your personal life at work. You can have 1 or 2 friends that you can talk a bit if you need to unburden yourself. But it's not the place to tell them your life history. And then you say, they're talking about me. You must apply wisdom and be discerning. Politics, things like that. If you're not a religious organization, you don't go into arguments about religion, about politics. It's not for the workplace. So respect people's time. Those are workplace etiquettes. Now, professional conduct. Remember, I said teachers, when I came into education, I didn't see them as professionals. Coming from a profession like law, where professional conduct is taught. There's a way you show up in court. There's a way you show up anywhere you go. Professional conduct is important, as important, if not more so, in education. Be punctual. Don't show up. Let's adopt what we say British time, not African time. Show up on time. When you are late for lessons, then you will now be marking some children late. And when you yourself, you are never on time. Be punctual. Your behavior as a professional teacher, let it be respectful. Show integrity. Integrity is, how do you behave when nobody is watching you? How are you when no one is watching? Show integrity. Be authentic. Be honest. Accountability. When situations at work, always remain calm. Leaders, remain calm. Staff, remain calm. Even in heated situations, don't lose your cool like you're ready to fight in the workplace and children are gathering around and parents. Now. Remain calm. All these things are skills that must be taught and learned. You teach yourself. Now, part of professional conduct is being flexible. If you're going to ever rise in your career, you are not one of those that it is 4 o'clock, contract is over, I'm carrying my bag and I'm going. You need to be flexible. If it is not every time that you're being asked to close late and things like that, just be flexible. Be flexible. Sometimes there'll be changes. Be flexible, not at the expense of work-life integration or balance or whatever we want to call it, but please be flexible. Be diplomatic. Be diplomatic. You don't like somebody. Hey, you don't have to write it on your head. Anytime the person comes in, you carry your face. It's so childish and immature. Be diplomatic. Be nice to everybody. Accept constructive criticisms. We don't like feedback. I remember early days of my school. When you're giving some people feedback, they say, some people have come upstairs to come and talk to you about things. Instead of them to look inwards, immediately they think that somebody is doing something, and stuff like that. Please accept constructive criticism. There is no way you'll ever improve. Appearance. Always think executive presence. Do I have presence? When people see me, how do they see me? And of course, boundaries. When I say boundaries, maintain professionalism with parents, students. Men, sometimes you cross the line with students. They are hugging you. You are rubbing their back. Sometimes teachers cross boundaries with parents. You become very friendly with them. You go to their homes. You go and teach the children. Then one day the woman says you want to snatch her husband. It now becomes school matter. But when you were crossing boundaries, you did not know. Set boundaries. Don't cross those boundaries. Next, professional etiquette. How much time? Okay, I should be rounding up now. Communication etiquette. Communication manners. There is a way we communicate in the 21st century, because communication, as we know, is one of the 4 C's. Is one of those 21st century thematic areas and skill areas that everybody must have. Communication, either on the phone, email, or in person. I want to start with effective communication in the workplace. A lot of us, we do not develop ourselves in terms of communication. Guess what? As much as I speak and train and all that, it was one of my growth plans this year. I started going on some apps to know how to pronounce some words better. So a lot of us, like the short I-E sound and the long, we say it the same. If you want to say fix, we'll say fix. Or, bit, we say bit. Communicate properly. Be clear. Some of us, because of limited vocabulary and communication, we are trying to pass on a message, but we can't. People are not, there's no clarity. Improve yourself. Become a better version of yourself. Active listening is part of communication in the workplace, and communication will help you all in life with your husband. When he's saying something, when you are replying, you know what he understands you. You are not, saying different things and hearing different things. Active listening. Active listening simply means I'm not listening just to respond. I'm truly listening to you. I'm engaging with what you're saying. And at the end, I can give a response that is thoughtful and empathetic. Respectful tone. We shout. Nigerians, we like to shout. When you're talking to people, don't shout at them. Also, uplift with your words. Don't discourage. I say this, especially leaders. Don't pull people down. Uplift them, encourage them. Don't discourage them. Don't let people be weeping in front of you. For what? Who are you? Who are you? Are you better than them before the Lord God Almighty? Uplift. Uplift people. Don't discourage them. Let people love to come to work. Who are you? Even you are, if you are the owner. Respect. It's just decorum. Mind your body language. Mind how you sometimes you don't speak, but actions speak louder than words. I had a head once. All these people, when I say once, they're not there with me anymore. You say, she doesn't agree with them. That's what the owner wants. Or she might not talk, I just do like this. She has said it all. Mind your body language. Feedback, I mentioned that before. Communication in the workplace amongst yourselves. Now, how do we communicate with customers, with parents? How do we communicate? I'm going to play this short video.
Hi, I've been trying to get in touch with your office to return these, but nobody seems to be answering the phone.
Have you tried emailing us?
Yes, I have emailed.
Okay, well, that's all you can do. You have to email it through and someone will get back to you when they can.
And what would be the time frame?
Well, it's up to them. That's not in my department. I can't help you. You need to do it online.
So is there someone that you might be able to ask that would be able to assist?
Can't help you. It's all done online within our online team. I don't know what more you want me to do.
Is there, maybe you could ask somebody if they could help with
Well,
this?
no, because I'm the only one here and I haven't had lunch and I can't leave. So you're just going to have to go back online, wait for someone to call you and go from there. This isn't my area. If you want to buy something, I can help you.
Okay, this is terrible customer service. Is there not a manager or someone that I can talk to?
We do have an online chat room that you can lodge a dispute with, but I don't have anyone here that you can speak with.
Okay, well, I'll need to follow this up with someone then. Thank you for not being helpful.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. That's not a problem. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm just wondering if I could return this, please. I've bought one for my husband on the weekend and he's already received it. So is there possible that I could get a refund for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Had you lodged something online yet?
I did, but nobody seems to have gotten back to me yet. So I thought I'd just pop into the office.
Okay, sorry about that. Usually our turnaround is 24 hours, but I can definitely help you with that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just look up some of your details here. What was your name?
Cherie Montgomery.
Perfect. I can see you purchased that on the weekend with a credit card. And would you like that refund back onto the credit card?
That would be wonderful.
Wonderful. I can take care of that from here and you'll receive that within 10 business days. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Perfect. Have a great day.
Bye.
So, could we spot any difference in the behavior? I'd like to see on the chat. I'm rushing, but I always like to hear from what's the difference? You saw poor customer service and great customer service. Can anybody tell me a changed approach? Good. The lady stood up she just rose up. She rose to her feet. B was polite and professional. Empathy. Good. Good. The first one was very hostile. The other one was warm. The other time, the first lady was unnecessarily rude. All her anger, she said, "I've not eaten." Da 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 da. Very good. Very, very smart class. Well done. So I've taught you how to interact with each other, also how to interact with staff, with parents, with the customer, with vendors. I always feel so blessed. There was a day I was standing in my office looking outside, and one of my amazing leaders, when I say amazing, know that they're still here with us. I saw a parent asking her for something. She stood, explained to the parent, and she was going somewhere else. She turned around and took the parent there. I was cheering for her. That is customer service. Not when you turn right to go left to the account, you now go like that. No, she went right back to take the parent there. Effective customer service. Now, still on communication, when you are with people, remember body language. Make eye contact, my brothers and sisters. In our culture, you do not make eye contact. I know a gentleman, a friend, who is a doctor, and he kept failing his exams in the UK because each time he would go for those exams, he couldn't look the examiners in the eye, and they thought he was shifty. So maintain good eye contact. However, don't stare. If somebody is not looking at you and you've been looking at the person for like 1-2 seconds, look away, look back at them. Make sure that you match their speaking level. Don't shout over people. Don't be there, raising your voice, shouting, and they're going to be wondering, why are you angry? Are you angry? I'm laughing because sometimes maybe I'm talking to my doctor and she'll say, "Mommy, stop shouting." So there's this thing that we have that we tend to match the speaking volume of people. Show interest in what they're saying. Continue to mind the language. There's a phone etiquette. When you're on the phone, there's a lot, but I don't have enough time. But what I'm going to say to you is when you're on the phone, do you see how that lady is smiling? The truth is that a smile shows on the phone. When I'm talking on the phone, and let me see, I think my camera. When I'm talking on the phone and I do this, hello, the truth is you will see me smiling. You will hear the smile, if that makes sense. But when I'm on the phone, hello, you can already see the person is not in the mood. So please, there's a phone etiquette. If there's a conference call, and you're not speaking, please mute yourself as we're doing right now. Okay, be pleasant, even on the phone. We don't understand customer care a lot in Nigeria. I got into it years ago when I, went to the US. I realized that they're very much into customer care. You know why? Because of tips. In the US, good customer service, the tips they get would actually be more than the money they earn at the end of the month. So they are usually the standard of customer care. So now, still on communication and, especially phone and all that. My brothers and sisters, please text people before you call. I find that thing really annoying. Number one, sometimes you don't even know their numbers. And then somebody calls you and they're calling like 5 times. They have not texted. You don't know who they are. Even if you know who they are, can you just understand that I might be doing something else? I might be sleeping. So it is also it's part of good communication manners. Text people before you call. When they don't respond, don't go on like 5 times, because what that means is that it's an emergency. All right. As much as possible, be polite to acknowledge text. Another thing we do with phones, text, you will read it. It shows you have read it, but no acknowledgement. I think is rude. Even if it's a thumbs up, say something. It is rude. I would never. Once I say it, I would acknowledge it, even if it's a thumbs up. When people are with you, you can't be on the phone chatting. It's very rude. And I'll say, as an employee, you work somewhere, please. It is important that you check your phone periodically, not at the expense of work-life balance. I'm not saying 10 o'clock you are still checking, but you can't say after work, 4 o'clock, that's it. Nobody can reach me again. It's okay. Let's see how your promotion goes. Now, Again, I emphasize, not at the expense of work-life balance. You must also set boundaries. There are times that you will know that, okay, I can't take this, I can't take more calls. Now, it also depends on what you do. For example, I have my own EA and my PA. Sometimes they pick the phone after because we work together like that. But again, everybody needs to know the type of work they do. You set boundaries around it and all that. So I'm really rushing. Email etiquette, please proofread, proofread, proofread. Don't set things with mistakes. In fact, when you write anything, there is absolutely no more excuse for any kind of poor English or mistakes. When you have drafted something, please put it on AI. Let it refine it for you. Absolutely no excuse for bad writing anymore. Meetings, when you're at meetings, either physical meetings or online meetings, please set agendas. Set agendas, especially the leaders or whoever is calling the meeting. Set agendas. Be mindful of the time zone, that people might be at. And, make sure the introduction. In person, I'm rushing. In person training, meeting etiquette. When you are meeting with people, prepare before, make sure that your connection will work and everything. I like this part that I highlighted. I went for a course recently in Harvard, and I loved the way we used to have meetings. After the lecture, when we get into our small groups, the lady would say, she calls it, I don't know, reflection time or something. Once you are gathered for a meeting, she gives us 5 minutes to round up, to do anything you want to do. So it might be that then I quickly want to check my messages. I could just be quiet. I might want to quickly send a text to my children or my husband. 5 minutes just to get people to focus on the meeting. I think is very good practice. Not you start a meeting and you start to just give them 5 minutes. Let them round up whatever is on their mind, deal with it, and then they can focus on the meeting. I don't have too much time. I'm going to say this about in-person meetings, even virtual meetings. Keep meetings short. Keep meetings short. And be mindful that the time you have chosen is not just okay for you as the leader. It is okay for the attendees. It's not only about you. All right? Keep meetings short. And also, if the meeting is not necessary, so please don't hold such meetings. Virtual meetings, it is expected for you to put on your camera, but you can ask if you're not. In Nigeria, we don't. In Nigeria, in fact, it's not expected of you. But when I have meetings abroad, people are like, I'm like, why are they all putting on their cameras? Because that's the virtual meetings etiquette. You should put on your camera. Now, when you're having your virtual meetings, please keep your dogs, children, it's not like, oh, sorry, just keep it very professional. Now, we go to the corporate formal dining etiquette. Are we ready? Are we ready? Let me see in the chat. Are we ready? I've talked about 5 workplace etiquettes. We talked about the workplace etiquette. We talked about professional conduct. We talked about communication. We've talked about meeting etiquette, how you show up and behave at meetings, either virtual meetings or in-person meetings. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. Corporate formal dining etiquette. So I'm going to give us like 2 minutes to get ready. You see what I have in front of you? I want you to have, no food yet. Those who decided to do this is good for you. If you didn't, it's still your business. I have learned mine, and so I'm prepared. When I'm called to do anything in the world, in Nigeria, in UNESCO, in UN, in the Nigerian government, I'm good to go. And if you think, I'm not bothered about this, it's good for you. So I'm going to give us like 2 minutes to do some kind of plate setting. You might not have all these things, all right? So even if it is just your one plate, put it there in the center. If it is just your one fork, put it there. Your one knife, put it there. A glass, a water glass, put it there. Whatever you have, no, it doesn't have to be exactly this. Please set your place we call it place setting or table setting. Set it right now. And I want to set mine as well. So start setting it up, even as I'm talking. You know, a lot of us were taught, maybe in secondary school, how to use a fork and knife. The people teaching us themselves, they did not know how to use it. It was when I got into etiquette, when I started a school 20-something years ago, and I was teaching etiquette. That's when I really, really, really got into how to understand dining etiquette. It will help you when on the TTN platform, somebody said it's even good that he'll be at an Owambe right now. It's good, or if you're at the Owambe, please arrange your plate properly. So it was only when I got into etiquette that when you can hold your fork and knife confidently, not that you are using side eye to see how are they holding it, what are they doing. And I became even more confident when the era of YouTube, and I could really understand. So it is not the time to say I know how to use my fork and knife. You do not. Most of us do not. So have your setting, and I'm going to continue in 1 minute. I need to do my own setting. Are we good to go? Let me see in the chat. Good to go, good to go, good to go. Yes, you can start practicing at home. Good to go, good to go. Side eye, yes, so funny. Good to go. Okay, start arranging. Let me quickly arrange my setting as well. So just give me like 2 minutes. Set your own table as well. No food yet. Okay, I'm gonna set them to. That's true.
Someone is asking if we've ended the meeting. No, we haven't. We're just taking time to set the dining for practicals. So please let your colleagues, let your friends know that we haven't ended the meeting. We still have a bonus session coming where Mrs. Fatima Okelwo is going to take us on Bloom's taxonomy, assessment for learning, differentiation. So we haven't ended the meeting yet. So please let them know that we are just setting up the dining for the practical session with Dr. Wani. Thank you.
Are we ready, everyone? Abayomi, can you please enable? Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can, ma.
Okay, can you enable the video, because the video through which Gigi has to project me cannot be enabled.
Okay, I would make Gigi, what should you, sorry, what are you signed on as?
Meadow Hall.
Meadow Hall. Okay. Okay, I'll make you a co-host now.
Abayomi, can you confirm if we're ready?
Yes, we are ready, ma.
Okay.
Okay, Gigi, go ahead and try.
Yes. All right. Are we good to go? So, do I need to? Okay. Can you hear me? Can you
Yes, we
see
can.
my setting?
Yes, we can see, though it's a bit far. Gigi, do you want to maybe move the camera a bit further so we can see the plate itself?
Okay, work on that quickly.
Can you see it now?
Yes,
Please respond quickly, so we don't have much
we
time.
can. We can see.
Can you see my table setting? Or shouldn't she put it in front? I'm
In
just wondering.
front would maybe be better. Thank you, ma. Aha, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. That's good. Thank you so much, Gigi. Thank you, ma.
Yeah. What is this sitting in? All right. So you can see my table setting. I'm sure you can see it looks very much like what the way I said it should set the table. All right. So whatever it is that you have, this is what your table setting should look like. So I have my mat, my table mat. Sometimes you don't need this charger plate. In fact, you don't need it. It's only informal. Let's go to a party, you would see the charger plate. Can you see me, everybody?
Yes, we can, ma.
All right. So you don't need it in a simple table setting, but so that you know what it is. Because I've seen and I've heard of people who the charger plate will be there and they think it's the proper plate. They start putting food inside. Please, educators, don't disgrace me. They're called charger plates. When you see they're usually very large, and it's usually like not like breakable. So I'm showing you that, but it's not part of the simple dining. So you have your mat, you have the charger plate. Please don't put food inside. Somebody said can't see. Somebody said they can't see. How many people can't see? Yes, ma'am. And yes, we can see you, ma'am. All right, so that's the charger plate. It goes on the table mat. Then you have your plate, the main plate for your food, for your main dish. And somebody said I can't see anything. I don't know why you can't see. A lot of people can see. We can see you, ma'am. Okay, so if you can't see, check your own setting. So that's my plate for my main dish, right? And then usually you would have either a salad plate or a soup bowl. It can be a soup bowl. It depends on what the starter is. If it's salad, you'll have a salad plate on top of your main plate. So you can see there's the mat, the table mat. There's the charger plate. It's not always used, but in parties you'll find charger plates. Don't put your food on it. There's your main plate for your food, your main dish. Then you would usually have something for starters. It can be salad plate like this, or it could be a bowl, like a for soup, you know. So if you look at my cutlery, Americans call it silverware. Everything silverware. Well, I need my slide. How did this change? I need my slide. Okay, that's fine. So if you look at my cutlery, you will see I have a salad fork here on the outermost side. Salad fork. This is the fork of my main dish. So then on the right, I have my knife. You know, we say fork and knife. Then you have a spoon. Then on top of my plate, there's a small spoon for dessert and usually a butter knife. I don't have a butter knife, so this is just a normal knife. So that is how a plate setting is. If you go anywhere, the simplest, it can be more complicated than this. But trust me, when you go to those dinners that are very complicated, you don't need, because you would, once you know this basic arrangement, you will be fine. Go to your view, somebody's explaining. So now, you can see where my water glass or drinking glass is. And you can see my wine glass. Oops. I will be explaining a bit more about everything and how to set it. Are we all in, good understanding of what I'm saying so far? You've seen the mat, your charger plate, your main dish, and the salad plate. You will have 2 forks. Usually there's a starter. If it's salad, there'll be 2 forks. If there's no salad, you might have just the 1 fork for your meal. Now, your knife will be close to you. Usually you might have a spoon on the right side for your soup. So if it is a salad as your starter, you will start with a fork on the outermost side. If it is soup that's a starter, you will start with the spoon on the outermost side. Your water glass is always on your right. Remember this phrase, drink right. Drink right. Once you cram that, drink right. What happens that when you get to a party, you're thinking, which glass is my own? Some of you will then you will take the glass for the person, because that person's glass is on their right. You will now take it's on your left. You have taken the wrong glass. That's confusion starts. Everybody's looking, which one is my own? Remember, drink right. If we were having soup and there's bread, let's say there's that, bread roll, usually it will be on your left. On your left, your bread plate and your bread will be here. Your soup will be here. So usually, I'll show you a video soon. The person says, remember B and D. B and D. Like the way you write B. B is for bread. D for drink, which means drink is on the right. The bread is on the left. If there's no bread, just remember D on this side, or drink right. Very easy. Are we good to go? Are we together? Getting you, ma. Thank you very much. So that's my table setting. Now, once you get to any dinner table, the first thing you do, take your napkin, wherever they have put it. Sometimes they put it on the plate. Sometimes it's to the side. Once you sit down, take your napkin and put it on your lap, not as a bib. My people, not bib, not like this. I'm just joking, but not a bib. You put it on your lap. When it is folded, the folded part will be towards your waist. You know why? Because let's say I'm using it and cleaning, all the lipstick and whatever, you don't want it to be on the side that people can see it. So the folded part is usually to your waist. Sometimes we just even open it like that.
So once you sit down, once you are sitting down for any meal, the first thing you do is what? Take your napkin, put it on your lap. All right. Now, do not place bags on tables. A lot of us, a bag as huge as this, you put it there. Even the small purses, bags don't go on the table. Sunglasses, even cell phones. A lot of us will bring it out because you don't want to miss any calls. You put it there. Some of you will put briefcase, men. They are eating with you on the table at the same time. As you're eating, your briefcase is eating. Do not place bags on the table. Sometimes what I do is I don't want to put my bag on the floor. So I'll call, if I go to a restaurant and say, please, can I have somewhere to put my bag, please? So sometimes they have little stools that they will bring. If it's a small purse, I've learned to just take my purse and I'll just put it right behind me on my seat. You can put it on your lap, but no sunglasses, purses on the table. Let me issue a caveat. A caveat, like they will say in law. Please, when you're at Owambe party, put it on your table. Because all those what do you call them? All these guys that serve, they would steal your bag. So I will put. So I'm saying this so that you don't go to an Owambe one day. You see me with my bag on my table. It is wise. Wisdom is what? Profitable to direct. But when you go for a dinner, you are somewhere at a dinner, you must not put your bag on the table. Your phone and things like that must not be on the table. So how do they see my slide? They can't see my slide at the same time. All right. I've told you what to do with a napkin. Yeah, you open your napkin, you put it on your. So now we're going to the meal itself. I need my food. Tell him to bring my food. Now get your food, please. If you have any salad or something, I'm going to go tell him to bring the food. So I'm going to start with the salad. I just have a bit of salad. I was going to do the soup, but I had forgotten to get bread and all that. So your starter can be salad, it can be soup, it can be anything. You might not have your starter, it's fine. Just watch me. All right? So I'm trying to get my my salad. Any questions while I'm waiting? Any question at all? Anybody wants to ask anything while we're waiting for the food? Are we learning? Can I see in the chat? Yes, we are learning. This is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah? And I'm glad you are learning. Yes, thank you. Some people will be posting. You know, then when they get to dinner, they'll be doing like this. They've lost the opportunity already. All right.
So someone said, what is the usefulness of the charger plate, ma?
So what's the usefulness? So most of the time, I feel that number one is very good for the decor. So usually when people, they would have like this, the silver of it, there's the gold of it. And I feel sometimes it also makes this place sit properly. You know, everything just looks nice, well put together. Well, especially for formal dinners. You have flowers, you have candles, you have your charger plate. See how well it's sitting. If it is glass, you know, anything can put it. It falls down, it breaks. So it just kind of ties everything together, tidies up everything. Everything looks perfect. Stunning. So it's the salad I need for now. Okay, thank you. Come. Let me introduce you to my people, myself. Quickly, just to substitute. Okay, so everybody greet my executive chef. Oh, Sam, let me thank you. Greet him. He's
really trying to be very, very well.
All right, so bless you, bless you. All right, then. All right, so that's my salad here. So he's prepared this wonderful salad, and that is what we're starting with. Remember, which fork do I use to start eating my salad? The one on the outermost. Outermost. You know, the way it's done, I'm not even going to eat it really, I'm just going to show them. You know, the way the table setting is, sorry, I can't see anything. Sorry, Mr. Sam is a good chef. Thank you. I don't know who David is, but thank you for that. So the way, let me tell you, the way the table setting is actually for your convenience. So if you're starting with the salad or the soup, it starts from your cutlery on the outside. Always think outside in. Sometimes for years, even after I was doing etiquette, I'll be thinking, which fork is it? Is it the one on the inside? Is it the one on the outside? Now I have that song, outside in, not a chant, it's not a song, outside in. So I want you to chant it with me. Outside in. That means your cutlery from the outside is what you start with. 1, 2, go. Outside in. Good. Outside in. Good. Outside in. Lovely. So the one on the outside is what I'm going to start eating my salad with. So I just take from my salad and I eat. Usually with your salad, you just use the salad fork, right? Outside in. You use your salad fork. All right? That is how you start. Before I go on, I have some tips. I said, wait for everyone to be served before you begin eating your food. So if you're at a party, like 5 of you, 10 of you, 15 of you, immediately just bring your food, you don't start eating. Wait, somebody said something about left hand. Yes, you know the fork is always on your left. No, but when you're eating your salad, I'm left-handed, sorry. I'm left-handed. When you're using your fork and knife, the fork is always on your left. When you're not using your knife, for you people who are right-handed, use your right. For me, I am left-handed. So remember, wait for everyone to be served before eating, I look at everybody, then I start eating. When I'm eating, chew slowly, small bites. Always chew with your mouth closed. Don't no. Chew with your mouth closed. There are many nuggets there. When there's a bread roll and we're using bread, please do not take the bread and start, no. You will take your bread, you break it. You can break like 2 or 3 at a time. You will take your butter knife. You use a little bit of butter a piece at a time. It is not the time to think you are eating agege bread and be for bread. No. When you are eating your bread, you cut the bread, you put a bit of butter, you'll take it, and then you take it in the soup. I don't have the soup here today. When you are taking your soup, the soup is in a bowl, you scoop away and put it in your mouth. You scoop like that. The reason that when you do like this, it can pour on your outfit. So when you're taking your soup, we will take the spoon for the soup. This is the bowl. This is how you eat your soup. You scoop away from you and bring to your mouth. Unfortunately, I wish I had the soup here today, but this is the salad. When you eat, don't clean your plate. Clean it, wash it. Like my daughter's dog does with her food. You don't do that. You don't clean your plate. And another thing, no picking. No picking of the teeth at the table. So now we're ready for our main. Imagine that I've finished my salad, yummy salad. God bless Mr. Sam. Yummy. So, thank you. Now we go to the main food. The main food. Are we ready for the main food? Your food. Are you ready? They will have to watch something. So how do we do that? Now we go to the main food. How do we do? I have a video for them. Do whatever you need to do. So I want you to watch a video as we go to the main food. All right. Hey, 12. I can use it now. Okay. Can you see my screen, people?
No, we can't, ma.
So how do I go back now?
You need to reshare, ma. Just share again.
Oh, I have to go back.
Yeah,
Okay.
just share it again.
Please get your food while I'm sorting this out. Get your food. Get your food. Get your main food, your rice, jollof rice, whatever it is. Get it. Abayami, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, ma.
Okay. So, you know what I'm going to do? How do I go back? I can see my. So it's like I'm rejoining, I think. Are we ready? Abayami, can you ask? I can't. You just be asking. Are people ready?
Yes, we are ready, ma. Yes, we are, ma.
All right. Is it on now? So you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen now, ma.
All right. So now we're going to the meal itself. Can I have my food? The meal itself. You know you're going to use the cutlery that is on the inner side, just the cutlery on the inner side. So I'm going to show you a short video. I'm going to show you a short video on how to eat correctly with your fork and knife. I will then model it to you.
Two different ways that you should use your fork and your knife whenever you're eating.
Gigi, there's no sound. Can you please enable the sound?
Oh, this way.
Sorry.
We're going to talk about the two different ways that you
Welcome to Bringing Classy Back. Today we're going to talk about two different ways that you should use your fork and your knife whenever you're eating. First, we're going to start with the American way. Now, I will tell you that the Americans are one of the only cultures left in the world who still switch their fork and their knife whenever they're eating. What we never, ever, ever want to do is we never want to hold our knife like this, and we never want to hold it like a pen. We always want to hold it with our finger going to the top part of the knife and with our finger going across the back side of the fork. Now, here's how Americans are known to eat. This way. We cut our food, we lay our knife at the top of our plate, we switch our fork, then we start to eat. And that is perfectly fine. The Europeans, however, the proper etiquette way, or the proper way that you should eat, if you're trying to pull out all your fun little classy manners in front of important people, then what you want to do is you want to hold your knife this way and your fork this way. Now, it does take some getting used to. I am married to a British man, so I have learned this completely by association. So we go in this way and we cut this way. We never take our hand off the fork and the knife, because what we do is we begin to pile the food up on top of the fork. So if you like having all the different pieces of your meal on one fork, then you go and you eat this way. But this way, this knife continues in action to move off skin, to move off bones, and you're kind of still moving in that direction. But you're still able to eat gently and in proper etiquette. So I love this way. I find it easier. I find it functional, and it is absolutely, I'm guilty by association. So you can do this. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but if you want to pull out all your manners and you want to show off a little bit, then you're going to hold your knife this way and your fork this way, and you're going to cut, and then you're going to pile. Or you can just take one little piece of food, eat it, go back, eat it.
All right. Do we have our food? Do we have our food in front of us? So I'm going to go back, but I'm still going to show another one soon. But yeah, go ahead. Remove the volume. I don't like how you shake. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
So I should stop sharing. Okay, I want you to see me.
Yes, we can see you, ma. We can see the food.
Okay.
So let's practice. Let's practice holding our knife, our fork and knife. Can we practice this where we miss it most of the time? Can you practice? Can you say, I showed you in the video as well. You hold it like you're holding a pen. It's at the neck of the fork. And this is right there. And you know, that's why I wish it was virtual. I'm sure you saw. So you're holding it like at the, like where the blade and the bottom part of the knife meet. So that is how you hold your fork and knife. Can you please do it right now in your home by yourself? At the almost at the neck of the fork. It's not at the tail, it's not at the tip. It's not at the tip of your fork. It's close to the neck so that you're handling it professionally, well, properly. And then the knife, it's in between that, you know, usually you have the blade and the bottom part, and it's somewhere around there. That's how you hold your fork and knife. And with that, I want us to, maybe if you have your chicken, I'll teach you how to eat your rice. I want you to use the tines, we call them the tines of the fork. I want you to cut with your knife. When we're cutting, we don't saw like you're sawing wood. You cut it elegantly. Cut and then pivot. Top and pivot. Are you doing that right now? Am I the only one doing it? Enjoying my lunch? Can anybody hear me? Yes, you can hear me. Cut and pivot. Now, enjoying it, yeah. Now, when you want to eat rice, that's the tricky part. Because usually when we're eating, you're supposed to pack food at the back of your fork. It's supposed, and you know, packing food at the back of your fork can be tricky, but that's what I've done. Can you guys see that? It's tricky, but you can do it. Sometimes you might need to put maybe a piece of chicken first, and then you pack your rice. You can do it, but it's very tricky. So I'm going to show you another way to do it in informal settings. So for formal settings, your fork and knife, holding it properly, you will pack it. You use the knife to hold it, pack it at the back of your fork. And you do what? You pivot. I mix the food. I pack the rice at the back of my fork. Very difficult, but can be done. And I pivot. Now, imagine you are hungry. As you're packing the rice is falling off the fork. There's an informal way of eating rice. At parties, you can use it. It's only if you go to a dinner, somewhere that is so posh, then you use that way only of tucking the food behind your fork. So I'm going to show you a very informal way of eating rice. Every other thing, that's how you eat. You take the food, chicken, mormon, vegetable, whatever. Once you have mixed it or cut it, you take it, pivot, put it in your mouth. Once you are holding, I'll look at the questions later. Once you're holding your fork properly, and then almost at the neck of your fork, and the knife, you know, in between the blade and the bottom part, you are holding it like an expert. Then you cut, pivot, cut, pivot. If it is rice, you pack it at the back. If it is a fork, vegetable, pack it at the back of the fork, not opening your fork, at the back of it, and you pivot. I'm going to show you how to eat rice informally, because not everybody has the patience to be doing that. So I'm going to share my screen again. I'm only looking for the shared screen. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to show you a quick video again. Okay. All right. So this is how to eat rice in an informal setting.
Okay, it's an informal setting. You will then turn the fork upward, not turn your hand. And you need more rice on that fork, okay? It is an informal setting. You will then turn the fork upward, not turn, because then it becomes awkward. Keep your index finger here, turn the fork upward, then your index finger and thumb lands on the sides of the fork. Place it flat on the plate. The knife goes parallel to your body, between your body and your fork, and you scoop away from you onto the fork, rest at wrist, and pivot. That is only in the formal setting.
informal setting, sorry, where it's not expected for you to do all of these nice things, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, yes. All right. So when you want to eat rice in an informal setting, like you've gone to an Owambe or something, you are going to mix your rice. Can you see me? Then you're going to turn, you know, I said you use the back of the fork. You are now going to turn your fork up like that, like so. Can you see that? You turn it up. Then your knife will be between your body and your food. Abayami, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, man. We can see you.
You turn your fork up, not using the back of the tines. You open up your and then your knife will be between your body and the fork. And you do what? You pack it. You pack it inside. That's the type you like to do. You pack it inside and that way you can get a lot more rice. I should never talk with my mouth full, but I'm mindful of time. So turn it up, knife between your body and the food, and pack it on, smoothen it, and sounds much better. So that is how, yeah, that way you're hungry. Yeah, you just pack it and the American way, once you mix it, sometimes you can use your fork alone. Once you mix it, put your knife at the tip of your plate, like so, and use your fork alone. If you are right-handed, you use your fork alone. So you cannot, it's okay to use your fork alone. But where do you place your knife? At the tip of your plate. That is the American way. Somebody said, can I use a spoon? Good question. You only use a spoon when you are eating something from a bowl. Once you are eating something from a flat plate, it has to be fork. Okay? All right, so we're rounding up now. Let me share again. I think there's a... So we're rounding up now. Hey, these are terrible. Hey, God. Oh. All right, we're rounding up with this video, and that's it. And you can just send your questions to me after we look at Bloom's taxonomy and all those things. We would
The video is like, they're seeing your screen. You want to share your screen? Just play it. They're seeing your screen already. Just play the video.
All right, we're going to round up with this video. And that's all.
Manners and how to avoid embarrassing yourself when you dine out with other people. When you hear the words manners or etiquette, I know sometimes you might just think of, rules that you blindly have to follow just for the heck of it. But actually, that's not the case. At their core, manners are just about being considerate and respectful to the people around you. Table manners are particularly important because, well, let's face it, there's a lot more ways to gross someone out when you're eating with them. When you're slurping and chomping and burping and splattering. versus when you're just like sitting next to them on a train reading a newspaper. Because of that, table manners have always been a good tell about someone's overall refinement, their upbringing, and their sort of sensitivity and kind of self-awareness around other people. So my thought is, even if you don't practice impeccable table manners at home, it is important to know how to behave properly for those important occasions. Today, we're going to be talking about some easy to follow guidelines that will help keep your table manners on point throughout an entire meal. Sitting down at the table. So when you're just about to sit down at the table, that's a great time for you to silence your phone and put it away. You don't want to be that guy whose phone is going off during a nice dinner. And the other thing you want to do is make sure and wait for everyone to gather around the table and about to be seated before you sit down yourself. And you may want to take a cue from the host or hostess. The first thing you do when you sit down is generally put your napkin on your lap. And in really formal settings, you would actually wait for an indication from the host or hostess to do this. But in most settings, you're probably safest just to put your napkin on your lap when you first sit down so you don't forget. Of course, it should never go in your shirt. You should keep it in your lap, but your napkin is your friend. So feel free to use it throughout the meal to blot your mouth and keep it clean. Body language. When you're sitting down, your posture should be upright. You should try to avoid, slouching or leaning way back in your chair, keeping your elbows off the table. So this is kind of a misunderstood rule. Of course, it isn't acceptable to put your, elbows on the table while you're eating. And in general, you want to kind of keep your free hand on your lap while you're eating. But it is actually acceptable to put your elbows on the table in between courses when you're not eating, and particularly after the meal. If you're just enjoying conversation with the other diners, you can put your elbows on the table, lean in, and it's totally fine. The place setting. Oh, the place setting. Nothing gives people greater anxiety than the place setting. You sit down and there's all these glasses and plates and implements. You don't know what's going on. It's totally overwhelming. Now, the first thing you want to figure out is where's my bread plate and where's my water glass? Because you don't want to be like sipping off someone else's glass or stealing someone else's bread. So I like to use this trick that my friend Dave showed me that's really handy. Just remember B and D. So B for bread and D for drink. And that always kind of tells you what side everything is on. When it comes to understanding which glass is for what, honestly, you shouldn't have to worry about it, because most likely when you get there to the table, your water glass is probably already going to be filled, or it will be pretty obvious which one the glass is. And if you do have multiple wine glasses, generally that means you're probably going to be in a place that has servers or sommelier, and then the server or sommelier is going to be the one who's going to fill up your glass anyway. So you don't need to really think about it. When it comes to silverware, there's something you got to understand. First of all, if the person who laid it out actually knows what they're doing, then each utensil should relate to the order that the dishes are being presented in. Anything that's served on a flat plate should be eaten with the fork, and anything that's served in a bowl should be eaten with the spoon. The only thing you really need to remember is that you start with the utensils closest to you and work from your outside in. Those utensils on the top, above your plate, are for dessert. Don't worry about them for now. On your left side, you're probably gonna have some forks. On your right side, you're probably gonna have some knives, a spoon or two, and then maybe a funny miniature fork-looking thing that's a seafood fork, essentially. Starting the meal. So as much as you might want to just tear into your food because you're hungry when it first arrives in front of you, you've got to wait until everyone else is served. And in really formal dinners, you would actually wait to get a cue from the host or hostess, but usually you're safe if everyone is served. In the Western world, there are sort of two acceptable ways to hold your fork and knife. There's the American style and the continental style. With the American style, you hold your fork in your dominant hand, kind of like a pencil. And then when it comes time to cut something, you switch hands. And that's why this is sometimes called the zigzag style also. And you use your dominant hand to cut with the knife. Cut a single bite of food and then switch the fork back to your dominant hand to take a bite. And while you're doing that, if you want to set the knife down, you can place it at the top of your plate with the blade facing down towards you. With the continental style, you keep your fork in your non-dominant hand, and then you still cut with your dominant hand, but you don't switch them. According to Emily Post, either way is fine. This is actually what I do because it's a little bit easier. You're not switching back and forth. And of course, when you're eating with your fork and not cutting, you should be keeping your other hand in your lap. And remember, don't reach across the table. If something is close enough to you that you can grab it and you're not reaching over another diner, you can feel free to reach out and get it. But otherwise, you're going to have to ask someone else to pass it to you. Can you please pass the salt? And on that note, if someone asks you to pass the salt, you always give them the pepper as well, and vice versa. Finger foods. Yes, believe it or not, it is okay actually to eat certain foods with your fingers, even at a formal dinner. You know, obvious finger foods like corn on the cob, you know, chicken wings, or ribs, or pizza or tacos, you can eat with your fingers, but you have to use your judgment. If it does look like it's going to be really messy, maybe try to use a fork if you can. Chewing and talking. You probably already know that you're not supposed to talk with your mouth full of food. And of course, you want to avoid making loud smacking noises or chewing with your mouth open so you bother other diners. And the easiest thing to do is really just to take smaller, manageable bites, especially knowing that you're probably going to be in conversation throughout the meal. Now, if you need to get something out of your mouth while you're eating, you can use your fingers as long as you're discreet. Just try to cover your mouth with your hand or a napkin so other diners don't see, and then just quickly put it on the edge of your plate. Taking a drink. So while it's not completely a no-no to take a drink with food in your mouth, it's best to probably not make it obvious. Also, you may want to wipe your mouth if you've been eating before you take a drink off your glass. Otherwise, your glass can look like a crime scene. Eating foods you don't like. Okay, so what if you're at someone's house for dinner and they serve something you...
All right, because of time, I'm going to stop that there. And we have come to the end of this. I'm trying to go back to the end. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes, we can hear you.
Wait now.
So we have come to the Mrs. Akel. Are you ready for us?
Yes, Dr. Wani.
So that's the summary here of everything we have learned. I think most things are here already. Outside in, don't talk with utensils, don't hold your you can see that off now. Don't hold your knife like a dagger, proper posture when you're eating. There's a rule. The way something goes in your mouth is the way it should come out. So if I'm eating finger foods and there's a bone, as I said, you can use discreetly your hand to bring it out. If the food went in with a fork, right? I'm using a fork, you bring it out with a fork. You just put it at the tip of the fork and put it at the side of your plate. So I think with that, I would love to have questions, but since we have to go into some other things, I'll take your questions later. I cannot round up without talking about what I call Godfidence. After we have learned all this and we understand all that, personal grooming, comportment, social etiquette, the best form of confidence is what I call Godfidence. When you know who you are, you know that your Father is the creator. You know, you have that self-esteem because you know that you are for God. God is for you. You know that he's with you. No matter your faith, so far you have faith, except you're an atheist. If you have faith, you know you did not just drop from this heaven. You know you have worth. You know you have value. There is no greater form of confidence than what I call Godfidence. And with that, I rest my case. Thank you. God bless you all.
Woo! That was a master class, man. Thank you so much, man. I just want to quickly say this before you go. So about 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I attended my first wedding in Canada.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I've been in this class which you have taken before, and so I must say thank you so much because I wasn't phased. I was like, oh, okay, I think Dr. Wani has told us all of this because it was exactly how it was set up, you know, and I was there with my wife, and luckily for me, she also had that training. So it was easy to just put the bag on the floor, you know, and things like that. And she was looking at me like, okay, let me see what this guy will do. And I'm like, don't worry, we don't get training. So thank you so much. And I'm sure that this would definitely help people to
proud of you for learning.
Yeah, thank you so much. So just we'll run through to Mrs. Okewo. Now, Mrs. Okewo is an education consultant. She's a practicing teacher.
Just 1 minute.
Yeah, and a leader and mentor with 2 decades of working experience in teaching and leadership. She's going to share 21st century teaching approaches with various schools. She's proficient in the pedagogy of both the English and Nigeria curricula and is passionate about emotional intelligence, teamwork, and collaboration for optimizing team performance. Thank you so much, Mrs. Oke. I'll hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abayomi. Dr. Wani, I must say that this session was amazing, and thank you so much. I mean, we can't learn enough. We just keep reminding ourselves and ensuring that we're doing the right things. Please, if you can hear me, kindly type in the chat room so that I know that you can all hear me before I continue.
We can hear you. Let me see.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So today we decided to look at the teaching and learning cycle, and we looked at the 3 pillars of the teaching and learning cycle. And for that reason, we picked AFL, differentiation, and Bloom's taxonomy. Because for the teaching and learning cycle, we're looking at preparation for learning, instructions as you teach, what you do in the classroom, and then assessment. If you look at the topics we have picked, they cover these 3 aspects of the teaching and learning cycle. We have Bloom's taxonomy that will be useful for you as you plan, as you give instructions in class, as you teach in class, as you support the children in class. We have AFL that will help you in your planning and also for assessment. And then we have differentiation. That is largely what you do in class as you support the children. So we were very intentional to pick these three very strong topics, and I'll be looking at them today. We have already had the sessions with you, so this is like a refresher session to get you to remember everything that we have been doing. My objectives are very simple. Explore
your line is going off.
Strategies for assessment for learning and how to effectively implement them, and then about that. So I'll just quickly get right into it. What is assessment for learning? I have the definition on the screen, but I'm wondering if anybody can type in the chat room to tell me what they understand by what I have on my screen now. I have a clear definition, but it would be lovely to hear your understanding of what this definition is. Assessment for learning is the process of seeking and interpreting evidence for use by learners and their teachers. Let me quickly add here, AFL is for both the teachers and students, not just for the teacher. So for use by the learners and their teachers to decide where the learners are in their learning, where they need to go, and how best to get there. I would love to see your chat in the room to tell me what you understand by this definition. In your context, what do you think it means? I would love to see your thing in the chat room. Are we engaging at all? Or some of you are still, trying to finish up your rice?
We are actually.
It's like, okay, it is assessment to know. Thank you, Ayodiji. It's an assessment to know. I've lost that. To know if the learner has understood the topic taught. Thank you. Thank you. Testing previous knowledge. Thank you. It's a means of feedback of what you have thought or dished out to the learners. Well done, everyone. So I'll just quickly get right into it. So assessment for learning is you getting to know where your learners are currently, where they are supposed to be actually, and how you will take them to that place where they are supposed to be. So it's very important that you know where your students are. And when we talk about where your learners are, knowledge of the learner. As a teacher, do you know your students? Are you that teacher that just walks into the class and you're just teaching and you're going, not even understanding the different students and abilities of the children you have in your classroom? How is it that you're supposed to teach them to be able to ensure that they're all engaged? Have you considered that this child struggled with something you taught earlier or a few days ago, and in the course of planning, you have something to support that child in order to overcome the gap identified or the gaps identified? What kind of teacher are you? Are you also listening to your children when you teach? Because like I said, AFL is for both the teacher and the student. Don't forget that as you're assessing for learning, the children are also assessing how well they are learning. They are, as you mark their assessment, you mark their books, you respond to their questions, they ask you questions, you give them feedback. They're also able to tell, how well do I understand what my teacher has taught me? So they're assessing and you're assessing. How are you using the information you get from that? To what end? You now understand that this child in your class is still struggling with this aspect of the content you taught. What are you going to do with that information? How are you going to make the best use of it to ensure that this child does not leave your class, feeling confused rather than being clear about what you have taught? So I'll go on very quickly because yes. So I'm looking at assessments for learning and the key 5 strategies. So sharing learning expectations. During our time for my time when I was in school, I don't think I had my teachers sharing learning expectations with me. They just come into class, I'm going to teach you math today, and they're going on with the topic. You're trying to wrap your head around what can I do to ensure that I excel in this lesson today? Nothing like that happened during our time. But now, as you teach, you should have planned to ensure that you share learning expectations. You share the objectives you have for the class, and you let the children know what excellent, what good will look like by telling them what you expect from their outcome. What will be the success criteria? What are the things they need to do in order to be successful in your lesson? These are things you need to do as a teacher. And for you to be able to excel at this, you need to have planned and prepared adequately for your lesson, which is why we have picked these 3 aspects of teaching and learning to ensure that we're able to help you remember and use them as you plan for lessons. Elicit evidence. As you work with the children, you are observing, you are taking information. The reason why you're observing the children is for you to see the gap, see their strengths, use their strengths to support them, use the gap to find ways of getting them to understand better and do better. A child that is getting better at what they do will be more motivated and more encouraged to be in your class. But if a child keeps coming to your class and the child keeps scoring 1 over 10, 2 over 10, 3 over 10 consistently and is not getting any better, that child will be discouraged. But as a teacher, you know better. You know what may be hindering that child from excelling. What are you doing about it? How are you using that information to help that child? Now, feedback is also very important. As we give feedback, able to move from where they were in the last lesson or the last where you assess them to another point, a better point. So I would like to just use an example of how we mark our books, and I'll go further to say other things. So we have our books and we'll have teachers marking, and teachers will say seen, good, very good, excellent. You see, that doesn't really help you. It doesn't help the child. So if you're marking and you've marked the child's note, your feedback should help the child identify what the child has done well, areas that the child didn't do well, and what the child can do better. So when we're giving feedback, it's very important that the children are able to tell that these are the areas I have done well, this area I still need to work on it, and these are the things I can do to get better. I just want to give you an example of something I usually would do, and a lot of our teachers here can testify that that's something we do. So when children are preparing to take, let's assume they want to take the end of term assessment, and I give them, I'm in the class teaching them, particularly for multiple choice. You know how children can just get into the hole, they just tick, 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 out of 40, under 25 minutes, they are done, and they say, yes, I'm done. You see, we need to teach children to be able to read, understand, identify what the examiner is asking them and what they should put down, or what the content is really expecting of them. So some students will come and I get their paper. Often I get the paper marked immediately, and assuming a child scores 15 over 40, I call the child, I say, okay, you scored 15 over 40. I'd like you to go back. I'd like you to read the other 25 questions and attempt them again. I don't give the child any additional resource. I don't do anything. The child goes back, takes some few minutes to read, responds, and brings back. and I'm mad. And that child moves from 15 to about 30 over 40. And I asked the child, I said, okay, what did I do? Did I do anything? Did I reteach you? Did I give you supporting materials? And the child is like, no. So what did you do? I read the question properly. I realized I did not do. I realized, they're beginning to reflect. They're beginning to take the feedback and using that feedback to inform their next steps. Let me tell you, if we are intentional about ensuring that we give feedback to children, they use the feedback to move forward, they will be in charge of their learning. We're taking them to the level of what we call metacognition. A point where a child is able to think about their own thinking, to think about why they have made a decision, why I have picked this answer, why did I pick it, why didn't I pick the other answer? The child should be able to give responses to questions like that. So that's where we need to get children to. So giving feedback, it's very, very important. And that's the reason why when you go into classrooms and you see teachers that don't give children opportunity to do corrections, it's really, I usually find that very discouraging, because what's the point if the child doesn't learn from the mistake the child has made? How will the child do better next time? We need to ensure that we give opportunities to give feedback so children can use the feedback we give to inform what they're going to do next. Now, self and peer assessment, the last 2 points I want to talk about, they're very important and also very, very encouraging when you use them in class. I also want to quickly say something about peer and self-assessment. Peer assessment will come before self-assessment. Often teachers ask that question. You want to have an activity and you're starting off with self-assessment. It doesn't really help that way. The best way is to give peer assessment, where a child is assessing another child's work, or they're having a conversation about the response that another child has given, and the other child gives a feedback, they talk about it. And and thing, let's assume I'm discussing with another individual. I'm beginning to identify where I may have made mistakes, even though we're having the conversation about the response my colleague has given. So I'm also learning in the course of having that conversation with my colleague and assessing the work my colleague has done. So that will help me assess myself as a student, or as a teacher, or as an individual that is in this peer assessment session, and to be able to tell what I can do better when I have my script, my notebook, and reflecting on the conversation I had, and also identifying what I can do better to improve on my work. So the purpose of AFL, I'm going to run through this very quickly, is to identify learning gaps early. I talked about AFL saying that you need to know where your learners are, where they should be. How will you get them to that place where they should be? That means you must be able to tell that this is what is keeping this child or stopping this child from being able to achieve the objectives we have stated. Okay, if this is what is stopping the child, these are the things I think I should do to help that child get to that level that the child is supposed to be. Being a year 5 student, that's where the child is expected to be. I must be able to identify that early enough, be able to provide the support, and be able to get the child to where the child is supposed to be. Guide teaching decisions. Of course, once, like I asked in the beginning, when you observe lessons, you identify gaps. What do you do with the information? In medical, we say that's you being data rich and not being data powerful. So when you've gathered information, you've gathered your data, what do you do with it that will move the learning of the children you're teaching forward? So give immediate feedback. I've talked about feedback. I can't talk about feedback enough. It's very important that your feedback is immediate, because if you want the children to move from where they are currently to where they ought to be, that information should get to them immediately. Encourage students' reflection. Yes, that's very important. As you're talking, as you're having those conversations, like I said, the children are reflecting and they're beginning to like, oh my God, that was what I wrote in my book. Oh, it could have been better. You see, it's very important when you have that session where you are able to discuss about the responses. And once you get children to talk as pairs, get them to work in groups, it helps one child to get information from other children, and they're able to use that information in a way that will help both of them to learn, and also help the child think and reflect on what the child has done and look for better ways of doing it. Now, motivate and engage. Once you are engaged, once you are doing well, your children will be motivated. Promote active learning. I'll like to quickly say that when we talk about active learning, teachers are always thinking about children moving from one angle of the class to the other because you have activities to keep them busy. Really, what we're talking about here is for children to be able to be engaged in thinking, in thinking, in making decisions based on the activities you have given them to do. They are engaged in active thinking. Okay, why am I doing this? How am I going to do it? What will change? They're asking questions and they're looking for answers to those questions. Very quickly, I'll go to differentiation, and I have my definition here. Differentiation is the process of tailoring instructions to meet individual students' need. We have diverse students in our classrooms. Even when we don't have diversity in our classroom, we have them separated based on ability. We're still working in children with the same age group, and they're achieving at different levels. What are you going to do to ensure that every child achieve their target? Very achieving that we would as we think about engaging in diverse classroom settings. So the first aspect of differentiation I'm going to talk about is content. We have the process, learning, and then of course the product. For content, that's exactly what you want to give them. What are you teaching them in class? How do you intend to teach them? How will the children access what you're teaching them? What are the things you're going to use to get the children engaged in what you're teaching so that the content of what you want to teach them, they're able to connect with it and they're able to leave your class knowing that, yes, I have been able to learn this and that in this lesson. When you were preparing for lesson, did you consider the different children in your classroom? Did you consider that a particular child would benefit from this particular resource or particular activity for that child to be
Ms. Okewo, you keep going off and on. Ms. Okewo, you're going off and on.
In your class? There's no rule of that. Based on that, have you come up with a list that will probably pair someone that enjoys talking, quite accommodative, to be with that child that doesn't really enjoy talking, encourage the child to be a part of the conversation? These are things you want to think about and plan as you plan for your lesson. Teachers don't think that this is part of differentiation. It is part of differentiation. It is knowing your student, knowledge of the learner. I had said that in the beginning. I'm going to keep saying it in the course of this session. You must know your learner. You must understand your learner to know how to be able to get them to connect with what you're teaching. What does your learning environment looks like? How encouraging and motivating is your learning environment? How about that child in your class that's usually cold and always having stuffy nose? Where do you normally place the child in your classroom? Is the child always close to the AC? What have you done about that? If that child comes to your class all the time and that child is located in the place where the child is always cold, how would that child even listen or concentrate in your class? How about that child that is struggling with his eye or her eyesight, can't see properly? Have you considered the location for that child? What about the child that whenever the child sits close to the window, the child will be distracted? Anyone that walks by the corridor, the child will look at that person instead of listening to you. Have you considered where that child will be seated in your class? What about the child that just wants to go and use the restroom all the time, even though the child doesn't really need to use the restroom? What plan have you put in place for that child? What about the child that wants to throw something in the bin? That child will take excuses like 10 times in the class. I want to throw something in the bin. What plan would you put in place to ensure that that child sits for the duration of the lesson to be able to benefit from what you're teaching? And then at the end of the day, what will the outcome look like? And this outcome is very important because what you have put in will determine what will come out. Don't expect every child to come out with an outcome that will be at the same level. Of course, that wouldn't be. But what you should expect is that every child that comes to your class will have moved from the level they came into your class to a higher level because of your intentionality, because of the plans you had put in place whilst you were teaching them. because of your understanding that the learners I'm teaching, these are their gaps, these are their areas of strength, these are the things I've been doing with this child and that child to ensure that I encourage them. And at the end of the day, the outcome is commensurate to the effort or even exceeds the effort you have actually put in. So I'm going to quickly move again and look at strategy. Look, the first thing I have, which means you divide your class into groups and you make sure that the leader of each of the group, and specifically this is for large size class. So differentiation is something we have to do, but often the question we get from teachers is, how can I manage a large size class? If you have a large size class, one of the ways to work around it is have your students in groups, and that grouping must be intentional. You must know the children's capability, put them in groups, and have someone that is very strong and able to really demonstrate and connect with what you're teaching to explain to others to be in that group. Think about that person that will be able to take notes down, share information, and just get the group working so that while they are working, you are able to focus on the children that are up and coming that would require heavy adult intervention and adult presence. So you must have your class plan, class list that will help you work in such a way that you are able to support every child in your class. What are your activities like? How have you arranged your activities for different levels so that the children, as they are working through, they know that there's something everybody must be able to access? So you have a class activity that you shared with the class, and question number 1 is so tough that the child doesn't even bother to go to question number 2. How have you organized the activity that you are encouraging the child or children to move from one question to the next question? What will question number 1 look like? Will it put me off? Will it discourage me from wanting to be in your class? Or will question number 1 help me feel like, yes, I'm actually in a class, and as I move up steadily through the questions, I'm able to see the level of challenge, I'm able to apply myself, and you're able to tell where the children are struggling and what you can do to support them. How are you using technology in your class? How are you using that to help you? How are you using the last session we had on AFL, we used the interactive whiteboards. We showed you apps. We also use mini whiteboards and the resources we use in class to work. So we have quizzes. We did Kahoots. Those quizzes can help you connect with children. Imagine that child that is not often encouraged in class. You use a Kahoot activity, just hear the sound at the background. They are encouraged to want to work. Children want to do the Kahoot, forgetting that it's actually a task, but they're just happy to hear the sound, and they're happy playing the Kahoot quiz. I just wanted to say game, and they're learning in the course of it. Now they are learning happily because they're happy about the activity you selected for them. So the question I have for you, how do you use technology in the class to be able to leverage on the areas where you need to support the children? Now, do you have learning stations in your class? Activities that you have in different places, problem solving. As the children get into your classroom, they're looking at different corners, they're seeing different things that will get them to think, and they're encouraged. Oh my God, this is this. I went to a particular classroom, the teacher had a picture of a stadium, and he asked the question that had to do with shapes in mathematics. And he said the student sat there and was trying to calculate this, do this calculation as he's looking at this picture of the stadium. The question was linked to the stadium. This child loves football, and this child was able to stretch himself. He doesn't really like math, but for the fact that this question was connected to a stadium, the child was interested in how to solve it. How is your classroom? What are you doing? How intentional are you to ensure that children in your class, you meet the needs of the different children in your classroom? Do you consider that you have boys, girls? What are the kind of activities you're giving to them that will help them connect? Most of us know that there are certain comprehension passages that boys don't connect with easily, but are we just going to forget about them, that you must learn what I have? You must look for comprehension passages, stories that they can easily connect with. The more you do that, the more they are able to now, diversify and pick up other books to read and connect with that. Then scaffolding is you providing support to children. But please remember, at the end of the day, what we want to achieve when we scaffold is to be able to let the learner be independent at some point. So as you're giving that support, you are also being very mindful, because gradually you'll be removing the level of support you're giving the child. So you're supporting this child. You're gradually taking off the support, because you're also intentional to see that the child is showing growth. At some point, that child should be able to work independently, because you have provided support at some point. Help the child to understand gaps, help the child to overcome the gaps, and help the child to become independent. Now I'm going to Bloom's taxonomy. It's a framework that categorizes educational objectives into varying levels of complexity. I don't know if you can remember the levels of Bloom's taxonomy. We'll be going into that very quickly, but you must, as a teacher, I always say this, have the Bloom's taxonomy hierarchy beside on your table, posted close to you, because as you're planning and writing your lesson plans, you need the vocabulary to be able to help you plan for the children you're teaching. Once you miss a proper planning, you have actually missed what you ought to achieve in your lesson. You can't afford to miss that. So you must have your Bloom's taxonomy very close to you as you plan. Every day you're looking at it, you're getting used to the vocabulary. You can tell the vocabulary that stands for the different levels, and you're able to use that to think about expectations for the children. I always usually say this. There was a session we had with teachers, and we were talking to them, and we went to a school outside Lagos to work with the school, and we were talking about their lesson plans. And when we reviewed the lesson plans with the teachers, they mentioned their objectives. Guess what? Out of about 10 teachers, 8 of them, all 3 objectives they had with their lesson plans were on the first and second level of Bloom's taxonomy. That means those children will not be taught how to apply anything in their school, because the teachers have not been intentional enough to know that this is the level of this child. This is where I'm supposed to take the child to. This is how I can support this child to get there. So they've limited the learning, the teaching and learning in that school to the first 2 levels of Bloom's taxonomy. You also have to agree with me that with technology, there are certain things that the children already know before they get into your class. So it's almost like you must be intentional to know that they have access to information online. They have an idea of what you're teaching. So your level of pushing and stretching them must also be commensurate to the information that they have. If you have on your lesson plan that you want a child to be able to define a particular term, I think you need to think better, because for that child to define a term, the child should also be able to explain that term. So if a child can explain, the child can also define. So why would the definition be, why should you would you limit your lesson objective to definitions alone? Least. So we must be intentional. We must know that there are certain kids that must be able to move beyond here. They're already here. We need to move them upwards. The framework progresses from basic to complex levels. I've talked about that. By applying the Bloom's taxonomy, teachers can more effectively assess and enhance. This topmost one is creating. This is the highest level of Bloom's taxonomy. So as I was saying initially, the teachers we had a meeting with in their school limited the children's learning to understanding. So they wanted them to list, they wanted them to define, they wanted them to enumerate. There was nothing that had to do with planning. So everything these children learned in that school was limited to understanding. So the question is, if the students of that school interact with children from another school where the teachers make efforts to push and challenge the children, identify where that this child is extremely strong in this aspect, I need to challenge this child for that. If they interact with those children, how will they fare? How will they compete? So we need to also consider the fact that we are raising global children. We are not leaving the children to cope within the school where you are at. Think about competitions, think about interactions, international levels, national levels. How will the students that you've been teaching compete favorably? These are benefits of Bloom's taxonomy. I had talked about metacognition. Differentiation is here. So you can see that there's a link. There's effective planning. It helps critical thinking. Innovation, you think out of the box. New ideas or new ways of doing things. You're able to stretch the children to higher order thinking. You can get them to be more creative. In the course of doing this, there's collaboration. You heard me talking about group work, pair conversation. communication, deeper understanding. When you have, you are able to get children to have healthy discussion about what you have taught them, they will have deeper understanding. You know, when you sit back and you have a conversation with a friend on a topic, you will also be able to challenge yourself and you will understand better what you had independently been thinking about. You get the student to be curious, and of course, it improves their skills. And I'll just quickly go into this, for it still has to do with Bloom's taxonomy. In order to be able to cultivate a culture of inquiry and curiosity in the classroom, you must structure your activities to get them to the higher order level of thinking. You're analyzing, they're applying, they're evaluating. Eventually, they will be able to create. But if you don't get the children to do this in classroom, you don't expect magic to happen. You must be intentional. You must use your Bloom's taxonomy vocabulary. You must think about where they were. You must think about where they are supposed to be. You must now think about what you must do, how you must support them to get to that place where they are supposed to be. It also encourages children to engage deeply. I talked about deep understanding. When you have kids in groups, it's so beneficial to have them talk about what you have taught them. Give them a few minutes to reflect. Give them a few minutes to share their ideas with the person seated beside them. Guess what? If I only thought about one point, having a conversation with the person beside me will give me an additional point or two. So at the end of the day, I've added 2 more points to one I was thinking about. So ensure that these activities hold in your class so that you can support the children, get the children to where they're supposed to be, and possibly exceed expectations. And so I want to quickly ask you now, what do you think is the link between these 3 topics I've talked about, AFL, differentiation, Bloom's taxonomy? How can you connect all the 3 together in a way that it will reflect excellence in your class? How can you connect all these 3 together in such a way that Bloom's taxonomy, I used it, differentiation, I used it, AFL, I used it. What is the connection between the 3 aspects of teaching and learning? I'm waiting in the chat room. I would love to see your responses, and that would really encourage me. So please put your responses down. What exactly can you say is the link between these 3 pillars that I've talked about? Bloom's taxonomy, assessment for learning, and differentiation. How would you say they are connected? How do you use them in such a way that you can hit your chest and say, I used the 3 in the course of my planning, in the course of my teaching? Someone has said project-based learning is another way to get learners to actively engage in learning process. I agree with you, that's fantastic. I'd also like you to tell me how you can use the connection between AFL, Bloom's taxonomy, and differentiation as you plan, as you execute learning in classroom, and as you assess children. How? What's the connection? Can somebody give us, you said intentional lesson planning, that's fantastic, but let's think about what I've said. How will you, when your objectives are properly defined via Bloom's taxonomy, yes, AFL becomes targeted and meaningful. Well done, I like that. The link is that combining the 3 will help us to know our learners in terms of what they know and what they can do. Well, yes, they are all tools or strategies. Yes, we know they are, but how would you use them? How will they affect the aspect of learning? So well done, everyone. Because of time, I'll just quickly move to the next slide. And so what I have is this: AFL gives you evidence. We talked about observing the children, identifying where they are at. You've observed them. You have used your data. You have used information from class activity. You cannot put together and say, okay, with this evidence, I know this is where this child or these children are at, and then you now already know where they are supposed to be. So your differentiation comes in. You use differentiation to respond to what you have seen. This child is on level 5. The work I'm going to give this child must be different to that child that is on level. You're getting the vocabulary, you're getting the targets that will help you push the children, move them from the level they are at to the next level. So this is a very good way of infusing AFL, differentiation and Bloom's taxonomy, as you plan, as you give classroom instruction, and as you assess children in your classroom. So use AFL to know what learners need, differentiate to meet those needs, and design tasks that will stretch their thinking using Bloom's taxonomy. I hope that I've been able to keep to time, Mr. Abayomi. I have homework for you. Whilst I take homework, I'll also take questions, but let me quickly explain the homework. So this Kahoot quiz has already been scheduled for you. All you need to do is connect to it and take the quiz. This quiz will help you understand how well you understand AFL, differentiation, and Bloom's taxonomy. But the question I also have for you today, this is going to be the second Kahoot quiz you're going to take in this session. Will you be using this when you resume in September? I need you to answer that question in the chat room. Will you be using this? Because it's so easy for us to attend trainings and we see these activities, we get engaged, but taking it back to the classroom sometimes can be a challenge. So I'd like you to make a commitment, if you will be using Kahoot quiz activities, to engage children in the classroom, get them about coming to your classroom, and they will enjoy your lesson without feeling that they are actually doing heavy work. Okay, yes, I will. Please show the previous slide. All right. Okay, so this is the previous slide. Thank you so much. So I am certainly done with this session. If you have any questions, I will take them. Other than that, I will go back to how can learners be assessed without being overwhelmed by the assessment process? Well, it depends on you as the teacher. The assessment process is very easy. It's ongoing. I mean, as you're teaching, you're assessing them, and sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be with you setting a lengthy question. There's a particular way of assessing children that, as a teacher, you will be able to tell how well the children or a child has understood what you have taught. The quality of question you ask. It's not about how difficult the question is. It's about what the question will actually elicit from that child. The quality of question you ask will determine what information you get and how well you know that the children have understood what you have taught. The last time we had AFL session with Miss Ekpenyong, she showed the mini whiteboard, and you can assess intermittently as you are teaching. So before you move on to the second objective, you have quickly done a plenary session where you can tell at a glance how well your children, and guess what? They're enjoying the activities. So let's think about the kind of assessment tools we're using so that children can connect with us and be able to enjoy lessons. It's not all the time we have to set one long paper, print papers, and give to the children. Kahoot is this is just one example of ways of getting your children to be assessed, and you knowing where their gaps are, what to do to support them. When you take the Kahoot activity, all the children names will appear on the dashboard. You can tell the questions they got wrong, and you can quickly have a review with them to get them to understand where the gaps are. The pyramid again, okay. Yes, so this is the pyramid. So, Mr. Abayomi, I don't think we have any questions, but it would be nice if we can share the link so that teachers can do the homework when they get home.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Okay. We'll share the link to everyone who registered. You'll get the link in your emails. I would encourage you to check yours.
I don't know if anyone can hear me though.
We can hear you. Can you hear me, ma?
We can hear you, but Ms. Okel.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, ma. I guess your network is a bit
okay, all right. So if you don't have further questions, I must say that we're done. I'll take you to the last slide so that you can see the links, and you can, I'll also quickly copy the link and put in the chat room. Mr. Bayomi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, ma'am. Okay, so Grace is
You didn't
asking,
register.
don't, yeah, so
You got the Zoom link from a group. I'm sure if I can still register. Okay, Mr. Francis, kindly get in touch with Grace Udo so you can, Grace, Mr. Francis, please get in touch with Grace. Grace, somebody is going to share his contact with you so you can send your phone number. You'll be added to our platform. You can get information and you can register for subsequent training and be a part of our community. Right. So I'm done. If we don't have any questions, that will be it. Right now, Mr. Bayomi, could you please come on?
I am on.
Okay, so I can't hear from Mr. Bayomi, so I'll just quickly take the next session.
I can't hear you, ma'am.
Francis, can you please confirm if you are online, because you need to post the links for participants to connect to our community.
Yes, Francis is online. He's ready with links.
If you can drop your contact details, that will be fine.
You can call her.
Okay. So we have a WhatsApp community where teachers, once we have your contact details, I want to advise that you drop your phone number here. Once we have your contact details, you can be, once we have your contact details.
No, she can't hear anybody. Ms. Okewo.
Once we have your contact details, we're able to get in touch with you, add you onto our community.
I can hear you, ma'am.
You want to mute her, and then you just go ahead since you've already prepared for this.
Okay, ma'am.
Bayomi is there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Bayomi. Please, let's round up in 1 minute, please.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. A lot of people have kind of asked what TTN is about. I'm just going to, in a minute. TTN is the first professional community of practice for teachers in Nigeria. It's been in existence for the past 4 years, and it's beautiful because it cuts across the private and public sectors. And I'm sure that from when I was reading where people were joining from and the schools, I'm sure you must have seen that it's a mix of both public and private sectors. We provide informal and formal trainings, social connections. We try to create an environment that is conducive for innovation and creates problem solving. Actually, we want to reinforce a sense of professional identity. So basically, that's in a nutshell, what TTN is about. We hope to, in the near future, and with the vision led by Dr. Kennedy Nwani, which it tries to, I must also say that TTN is also a subsidiary of ERIT. And, we hope that in the near future, that dream of where teachers would be accorded the same respect as a lawyer, a doctor, a pilot, those professionals, we would see it come through very, very soon. I would also like to talk about our next training, which is coming on, August 23rd, 2025. It's called Quality First Teaching. And so I'm just putting up the slide here. So this is it. We have Quality First Teaching. Our facilitator is Mr. John Ofeswa, an absolutely brilliant facilitator. I'm sure everyone would enjoy that. So it's Saturday, 23rd of August, 2025. We would share the registration links and all of that. The reason why we share those registration links is so you can get the links on time. You can get news and information as it relates to TTN. So basically, that's it. We are sharing the feedback form link currently in the chat box. I don't think you can send us a message and join our WhatsApp community. Mr. Francis has put the link there, and also the Telegram community on there. So you can just click on those links and you'll be accepted into the community and you can become members of TTN. Okay. I see a lot of people have put their numbers up here. I don't know if that's really if that's really advisable. I think you should just click on the links that are there and then try and join us, and we would accept you into the group. Also, the feedback form is there. We want to hear from you. We want to know how well this has impacted you, and we can help us also grow better and serve you better. Mr. Francis, if you do not mind, one more thing, would you please share our social media links, please? Our social media links, Instagram. It would be nice to see if people are following immediately. Yes, I see a lot of people have followed now. Oh yeah, Tiana, Afi, I see you. I am Sassy Girl. I see you. Official. Oh yeah, for I see you. Izmenzi, I see you. A lot of people following right now. So it'd be great for people to just follow. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on TikTok. You can follow us on Facebook and of course YouTube, which is currently streaming. I would also like to say thank you to the YouTube participants, everyone on YouTube who has been there and stayed from the beginning up until now. Thank you so much. The feedback form is also there. The social media handles is also on YouTube. So thank you so much to everyone for joining. As I round up, I'd like to say a huge thank you to our executive director, Dr. Kehinde Nwani. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. This was absolutely amazing. Your session was fire. I'm glad that I've learned under you and I wasn't shamed when I attended that wedding. Thank you so much. I'm sure a lot of people have gotten one or two things and they would also, they'll learn from that. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you, Mrs. Okewo. Thank you for the brilliant doing assessment for learning, differentiation, and Bloom's taxonomy in 30 minutes is amazing. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who joined. Thank you. I would just like to say, Meadow Hall, if you are still here, I know a lot of people might have dropped off because they have one or two things they are doing. Meadow Hall, could you signify in the chat box if you are here? Meadow Hall, I know some people might have dropped off. Meadow Hall schools, anyone Meadow Hall? Okay. Yeah, I see that coming. Yeah, thank you all, Meadow Hall. Thank you all. Thank you all, Meadow Hall. Yes, you can go on YouTube. The record is LPSS. LPSS. Okay, I see you. LPSS. Yes, I see you. I see LPSS. Igbobi College. I'd seen Igbobi College earlier, but Igbobi College, I see up, I see anyhow. I trust you guys. Yes, I see. Anybody else? Anybody else from IC? Okay, I like this. Everybody just dropping their schools. Amu, I see you. Green Oak, I see you. I see, yes, I see you. Queen's College. Anyone from Queen's College? Leadford Gates, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Leadford Gates, thank you. Day Springs, thank you. Don Michael School, the Hudson School, Tutor Time, a lot of school. Isaac Newton School, I didn't know Isaac Newton has a school. Technical College, Central Junior, beautiful. Area Kai Junior Grammar School. Anyone from
Vivian Fowler?
Vivian Fowler. Vivian Fowler. Do we have anyone from Vivian Fowler? Lucky British.
They're there.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Do you want to say anything, Dr. Nwani, just as a round up?
I just wish you all the best. Well done. I'm so proud of you all. Just keep shining and just, that's it. God bless you all. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye. God bless.
Bye. Thank you so much, Ma. Bye-bye. Francis, please share the WhatsApp group again. I think some people are asking for it, just as a roundup.
All right, Odith.
Go College, well done. All the other schools still putting their names. Good. Peculiar Treasure School. Yeah. Ogunlade College, beautiful. Intellectual Giant Christian Academy, lovely. Olive Preparatory School, Abuja, you're welcome. Holden Park School, good. Good, good, good. Lucky British. City of David Academy, Eket. Lovely. Smiley kids. Great. All right, bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, Ma. Bye-bye, everyone. Peaceville will reach out to you, Peaceville. Thank you so much.